That's what you got some talking.
About 90 minutes.
That works.
91, I guess I did, but
They're
that's
about
okay.
that works.
That would have to redo the whole thing. I'm not doing it for 1 minute.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Well, Todd, you let us know when it's go time, sir.
It's been go time.
Are we recording?
We are.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we can always do some.
What? Okay, I didn't know we were recording.
I just,
so.
because it seems to work best when I just hit randomly the record button and don't tell you guys.
Nobody knows anything. Yeah, I like that better. So anyway, as I was saying, Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta get in the back of this hot rod, right? And they're at the fair and everybody's singing and cheering and stuff. And then all of a sudden the hot rod like flies up into the air. And I'm like, what the fuck? There was no like sci-fi element at all in the movie. Are they friggin' aliens? I mean, what the hell's going on?
I think it was a dream. It was Vinnie Barbarito's dream.
The whole thing was a dream.
It was
Okay.
Vinnie Barbarito was dreaming about the days back in the 50s.
He had a bad corn dog at Coney Island. Hallucinating.
Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter, I ate a...
The rubber hose.
Yeah. Which I still use once in a while.
I had the lunchbox, I think.
That's pretty cool.
Dude.
I wish I had it now.
I want to rewatch that series. I wonder if it's available someplace online. I'm sure you can probably buy it on Amazon.
Probably.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also one of my... Oh, sorry.
No, do it.
Since we're all just... This is the
This is the preamble.
Yeah. This is the extra stuff that you could be paying for, you cheapskate, but you get it up front.
I can edit this stuff out and put it in the bonus stuff.
No, we're just giving a little taste.
And Charles Fleischman is like the tough guy at their school, right? Who picks on the sweat hogs once in a while.
Oh, yeah. He's the one who becomes Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
He's the voice of Roger
and
Rabbit.
He's a cool, his stand-up, I saw him do stand-up one time, and he was doing like Pythagorean theorem jokes with his mic stand and the mic cord and all this weird shit. Like, who does triangle jokes? He does, and it was funny.
The voice of Roger Rabbit does pie jokes.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys. Thanks for joining us. We are Our Town Podcast.
Because it's our town, damn it.
Extraordinaire. Yeah, and it is Wednesday, and we are now into February, which makes this the 32nd day of 2023, right?
Wow.
So I can do the math.
Yeah.
Look at me. Look at me. So welcome to the show.
Yeah,
we're going to fill your lives with probably about 90 minutes of fun conversation and chatting and nonsense and whatever else comes out of our grubby little mouths.
I mean, there's worse ways to throw 90 minutes at the universe, you know.
So how was your guys' week? I mean, it's been a week since we've seen each other.
Todd, go ahead.
It was, it was a week.
Okay.
It was. Well, I mean, the last couple of days have been kind of rough for me, just because my brain can be a real asshole at times.
Do you ever notice, like, and I'm not necessarily astronomy involved, do you notice any patterns in...
No, it's just randomly my brain will just be the biggest dickhead I've ever met in my life. My brain will say the shittiest things to me, and I just sit there and go, that's great, thanks.
Thanks, brain. Who said you are?
Yeah.
Definitely not Todd's.
What's funny is because one of my family members, it may have been one of my siblings, they said, it sounds like your brain, the one that talks to you in your head, it sounds like Dad. I was like, exactly. I mean, that's
interesting.
My dad was he was a piece of work. I'll say that. I don't want to bring the podcast down by telling you all the shitty things that he's said to me over the years, but yeah, he was not a good guy. So.
Yeah, and I'm super committed to doing that Father's Day Dad's episode, which I think we need to do. I think it'd be good therapy for us, right?
Do we charge each other
money?
We're
gonna do a
nickel. Just comes out, yeah.
We're gonna do a Father's Day episode.
Heck yeah!
Okay.
Yeah.
Todd, you got.
I know people that are not my dad that are dads, so I can probably think of something about them.
Or is it an exploration of our own?
I think so.
I don't know, but you guys, can you guys see the reflection of that sticker on the back of the on-air
Yes.
sign? Okay, it's not just my
Yeah.
brain going, hey, look, there's a rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, holographic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking
Oh,
of
oh, you
which,
mean these holographic stickers that
Yes.
are brand new? Oh, yeah, hot off
Limited
the press.
edition.
you could get them on in our
Todd
store.
and Derp, yerp to the derp.
Get your own at ourtownpod.store.
Yeah.
Dot store. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Todd made a link to that. Or
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
townpodcast.com. It all works. It'll be linked in the
Yeah.
video.
It's really neat, though.
In
It
the
really
description, I'll put it in there.
Yeah. So, Mike, how was your week, dude?
Geez, good. Here at the Renton Civic Theatre, we've got our production coming up, and so full dress rehearsals start next week.
Wow.
And
So
we
when
might
I-
hear them later in the episode singing and dancing downstairs.
You know, it sure could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did
Because they
last-
have, rehearsals are happening now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then you have the full shebang happen. So I've been working this week on getting the dressing rooms improved.
Well,
So-
that's right, because you got to have that probably done before
Yeah.
they get too
Yeah.
far into it from the shows, right?
Yeah, well, I wanted it done before they really get the dressing rooms.
Yeah.
Just so that they can have a place to keep their stuff, change,
Yeah.
and just have it completed, so I don't have to come back and forth.
Nice. Well, good on you for
Geez, right on.
being down here. And
Yeah, I didn't. It's not even due to an arrest or anything. I do these volunteer things.
You didn't
That's
have
just
to
an actual
don
volunteer.
the
Yeah,
yellow
yeah.
vest and,
Oh man, which is fine. And I don't know. I like this building. It's a
I
cool
do
little
too.
building.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I do like being there.
And as Mike
Yeah.
mentioned, we are coming to you recording from the historic Renton Civic Theatre. here in
Yes.
Downtown Renton. What is it? 307 3rd or 507?
Yeah, I think it's 507. Yeah,
507
right,
3rd.
right on third, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Drive
brand-
by, cool marquee,
Yeah, brand new, neat gate in front.
neon. The
Yeah,
whole
no,
works,
it's
so.
cool. And yeah, production starts the 17th. It is a day in Hollywood, a night in the Ukraine. So kind of a play off the Marx Brothers
say that
film.
again?
A day in Hollywood, night in the Ukraine.
That's the show.
That's the show.
Oh.
It starts the 17th.
And 4 week?
Don't ask me too much about it.
Yeah. What do they do? 4 or 6 weeks, something like that.
I think it is. How many shows per week?
Uh,
Yeah, so it's Thursday, Friday,
Thursday,
Saturday,
Friday,
Sunday
Saturday.
matinee.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
and then. Well, I wouldn't say no joy there. Because I'm here every day and I'm not really sure when.
I told you I was going to steal your voice.
But it's going to be cool. And I do believe that it is. Proceeds go to Ukrainian.
oh,
To some
even better.
Yeah.
So get your asses down
Yeah,
there.
you
Fill
should
some
anyway.
seats.
Yep, you should feel
Yeah.
some seats.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not
There's a
that
bunch of
expensive for.
No, it's not.
like
And there's a
game.
bunch of good seats. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's worth coming to, period.
And it's almost brand new seats. I mean, they're brand new good seats. They're not. They're
Yeah.
brand new to the theater, but they're.
Yeah, and they were
really
just,
comfortable
they are
seats.
very nice, very
Yeah.
nice, and much more room, etc.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, there's been a lot of improvements in this building. It's really nice to see.
So if you haven't been to a show here, what is wrong with you?
They're busy.
They're busy,
Yeah.
but take some time, man.
Yeah, no,
Take in
it's
some
yep.
culture.
Yeah, no, there's way worse ways to spend your time. than
Yeah,
mine,
yeah.
honestly.
Well, good. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, how was your week, man?
Not too bad. A little busy. We're gentlemen of a certain age, and I think we were talking about this earlier. I can get out of bed and feel pain because that's how old I am.
Yeah.
So I woke up Sunday morning with a crank in my neck, and I think I pinched a nerve, just slept wrong. It's just
Yeah,
ridiculous
that happens to me all the time.
Friggin' 50 and dealing with this stuff. Right?
So
I,
cruel.
I think the mom's curse is finally happening. You know how when you used to pop your knuckles as a teen, going, "Yeah, I look cool." Mom said, "Don't do that because when you're older, it's going to cause you to have problems." I didn't believe her, but
Yeah.
it's probably not related at all. But
Well, she also told me that watching too much TV would make me go blind, and that hasn't happened.
that's not what I was told will
You
cause me to
try.
go blind.
I'm trying.
I heard other things cause you to go blind, but
Well, that too, and hair on your palms, but I don't. Whatever.
Yeah, I think we've all seen the what was it, Johnny Dangerously, where he tells the kid about masturbation, and there's that animation that explains what happens.
I haven't seen Johnny Depp. I saw it in theaters. When
Me
he
too.
came out, Joe Piscopo. And,
God.
oh, man,
My
that's
mother
what
did
he
that to me
before.
once.
Oh, yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
Is Piscopo still alive?
I don't
Yes,
know.
he is. He is. Yeah, he does a lot of he does a lot of stand-up shows, I guess, for the Republican Party.
Okay. All right.
So-
Well, good that he's still.
Oh, okay.
Still working.
He's relevant somewhere.
So, yeah, him and Dennis Miller.
Yeah, that's
They'll
right,
be better
Dennis Miller.
together.
Yeah.
And just whatever. I'm not going to besmirch anybody on whatever kind of subject matter they want to work on. You know.
Yeah.
And funny can be funny, right?
That's true.
It depends on who
Funny's
your
not
audience
necessarily
is.
funny, bro. But I still gotta hone those skills, Piscopo. But
Yeah, I mean, I laugh at myself a lot, so funny's funny, right?
oh yeah. And any kind of stand-up is a brave act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God,
There we go.
such a brave thing. So.
I had to tweak my
Yeah.
voice a
So
little
yeah,
bit.
and then the crossover is still a thing. I won't be here, but the crossover with Not About You podcast and.
Oh, are you not going to be in town?
No, I'm going to Los Angeles /
Oh, is that when that's
Route
happening?
66. Yeah, this
Oh,
weekend
okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to Costa Mesa.
Okay.
But then, yeah, April 22nd through... No, sorry. March 22nd through April 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will get a cardboard standee.
Would be perfect.
Yeah.
With better posture.
Yeah.
We'll get a framed picture of Mike.
And put it up with a little black ribbon around the corner.
You know what we could do? We could find one. We take one of his pictures from his Instagram and use that as its stand-in.
So, well, I've got a bunch of pictures of mushrooms on my Instagram, so same thing. I'm a fungus of some nature.
He is a fun guy. So
He's a funny-
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
did I have it? Yeah. No, that's not.
I was waiting for it.
There it is. I couldn't remember which button it was.
Works better on the timing.
Well.
Well, I mean,
It's still good.
the problem I always I have different settings, so if I don't remember which setting I have it on, the colored buttons
Ladies
don't
and
do
gentlemen, Cousin Todd on the big board. Good on you, Todd. And hey, before we jump into anything else, I got to do a shout out to old buddy, not calling him old, but old buddy. Known him since the 5th grade,
Wow,
and just
very
sort of reconnected the last year or so. Good guy, lives down in Tacoma, but Patrick Dugan his dog just had puppies, man. So if you are looking for a puppy, and I think he's selling them because I think they're purebred. I think they're American Bull, Pit Bulls, whatever.
Ooh,
Very, very cute dogs. I'm going to try to put a picture right there.
Wow.
That is
Aren't they
a pretty.
cute?
That's a
They're
pretty
cute.
dog. Oh my god.
If you're interested, hook me up.
Look you up.
Hook me up. Look me up. Send me an email, and I'll put you in touch with him.
Yeah.
The Dugan puppies?
Yeah, get some good puppies.
Dude.
Get some little puppies.
Pitties are awesome. They're the most
yeah,
loving
no,
dogs
they are
ever.
not. Forget
Little
about it.
Frasers and stuff.
They are the kryptonite.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, all right. Well, and make sure they go to good homes.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause
Yeah.
dogs
And
are better
he's
than people. So
he's the kind of dude that's not going to let him
Sure.
go somewhere bad. But Patrick's an interesting guy. He's got an art and clothing business that he just kicked off. He's the Yup
Really?
Yup guy. So at some point we might have to have him on the show to
Definitely,
talk about
yeah.
what he's doing.
Yeah.
So like art, like paintings or like photographs,
I think he's creating paintings and stuff. He's been the Yup Yup guy since 30 years or something. That's kind of his signature thing, and he does that. He does some art, and he'll put that on t-shirts and stuff. Sorry, Patrick, don't know a ton about it, but
yep,
looking
like
forward to learning.
like the aliens from Sesame Street. Yep. Boring. Yep.
I think more or less like Yup Yup.
Oh, okay.
So
That works.
anyway,
Jeez,
we'll get him on. We'll find out more.
If we were going to
I'll
look
link
up Pat Dugan stuff, would we go to like Yup Yup or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've been trying to find like if he's doing websites and stuff. I know he's on Facebook.
Well,
and
he's
all.
got to subscribe to our channel so we can go
Yeah,
back.
man.
That's right.
Hmm.
And speaking of which, Mike,
Oh.
yes, people can subscribe
Oh!
to our website
Yeah.
and find some exclusive content.
Yeah.
And on there, we've got some Todd and Derp funny videos. We've got
I just made some new ones
got
last
some
couple
new
days
ones
too.
out. I do a weekly thing where I do the news of the world. It's like a 5 or 10 minute funny stories, oddball stories from around the globe, and I share them with you. Todd and I have been popping some blogs on.
Mine have always been like the 3 a.m. thoughts from Todd. It just random
Actually,
shit.
I haven't done that one yet, so I'll have to post that soon.
Post that one.
I just did one on, because we're all in this age group, but I just did one on Generation X. So
Gen X. Yeah.
and it's very affordable. I think it's $3 a month or
No, I mean,
$30
come on.
a year. So
No,
I mean,
That's not bad.
it's like a cup of black coffee.
We
with
just,
maybe
just need another,
Shirley
100 people to subscribe and we're good.
Yeah, and then we can retire to our island in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
No,
We're gonna buy Epstein's Island.
Oh. Yeah. Drop a Lysol bomb on
with
it.
a deep clean.
Delouse the fuck out of it, yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck? Humans, and I have had kind of a tough people week anyway, where I'm like, are
I don't-
humans a failed species?
I don't really love people today, kind of thing. Yeah,
People suck. And speaking of people, let's get into some headlines.
yeah,
shall we?
man. You got some good stuff on your tube.
Well, I saw this story actually late last week, and I wanted to save it for the show. The state of California, excuse me, cleaning the pipes, is trying to pass what they call the Fast Recovery Act, and this act would raise the minimum wage to $22 an hour, right, just in the state of California. And it would also guarantee people, I think, either a 2 or 3% raise every year.
Huh.
So,
Okay.
I mean, it's living wage plus it's
Cost of living increase.
well. So the
Yeah.
wife and I were talking about this yesterday. She's up for her merit increase, and she told me the percentage that she's probably going to get. And when she told me that percentage, she said it was a cost of living increase, and I said, "Honey, sugar bear." That's not what I call it, but I said that percentage that you're talking about really isn't a cost of living increase, right? Because if you think about it, with the way inflation is right now, but houses generally will go up about 7% a year on average, right? So if you're not even getting 7% on a cost of living increase, that's not a cost of living increase. It's
Yeah.
just
Sure.
a base amount,
Yeah.
you know.
It's what you should be getting anyway.
I mean, really, because even the Fed, who's terribly conservative, right?
Yeah.
They want inflation to be at least 2%, like 2 to 3% a year anyway, right?
Yeah.
But inflation's not quite the same as cost of living, though, right? They mix together, but like in the Puget Sound area, right? Like rent and fuel and property tax, all those kinds of things are much higher than that 2% inflation rate.
I got a bump in pay from disability at the beginning of last month, and it wasn't that much.
Was it like a couple bucks? Or
It was like $100, you know. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot considering how much I get every month.
Well, considering how much rent is and
health
medical
care
costs,
and fuel,
all that stuff,
yeah,
it's just
no, it's a
crazy.
thing.
So the CEO of McDonald's has partnered with like Chipotle and some other corporate restaurants and are sort of fighting against this act, right? Because they don't want it to go into effect.
Sure.
But that same CEO who's slamming it, saying that small family restaurants aren't going to be able to afford this, is the guy that's making $7.4 million per year.
Yeah.
That's not just salaries, stock options, and everything else. But I ran some McDonald's numbers.
Do it.
that I'll
Okay.
share with
And,
you.
and are California McDonald's franchises? Are they owned by smaller?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the same everywhere. Not every store is a corporate store, but
Alright.
most of them are franchises.
But money still goes to the corporate out of state. Like even if you have a franchise, a bunch
Yeah,
of that
you
money is
still have
leaving
to pay
anyway.
it into-
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
leaving the
system.
state though.
Yeah.
So that's another way to avoid state paying into that system.
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. So McDonald's revenue last year was $23.2 billion dollars.
With a B.
That's what they made. That's what they took home. That's not their. Yeah, and that is.
After taxes and everything are taken
Well, I
out.
think. Well, their revenue.
Is that
so
gross? Yeah,
that
that's
might be
gross
gross.
revenue.
Okay.
I find that low.
I find that really gross.
Yeah. Unless that's just is that California McDonald's? Or
No,
that-
no, this is. I did.
Then I
Across
find
the-
that to be.
across
I
the
find
board,
that to be
yeah.
low.
I gotta say that these numbers come from a website, but I compared like 4 different statistical websites to kind of balance these numbers. Oh, Renton's finest. I don't know if you can hear them. They're out there somewhere.
Oh, is that what that was? I thought it was an alarm going off. Someone's alarm going off.
But they also had a growth rate in revenue of 21%, 2021 over 20, or excuse me, 2022 over 21. So they're still sitting at about 20%, 21% growth year after year.
Is that because that COVID restrictions got lifted?
I don't know. I mean, McDonald's drive-thrus are still open.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I don't know. And they're trying to do the
20% growth is huge.
That's huge.
It's huge.
I would kill for that.
Yeah.
Right. McDonald's has 210,000 employees. Again, I don't know if this is suit and tie employees at the corporate office and, your average hourly fry cooker. But I would think that most of these employees, most of these 210 are probably people in the restaurant, right?
Oh, it's your
Doing
fan,
stuff.
yeah.
So the average salary was $12.10 per hour.
Sure.
Right? So I figured out that if we used the 210,000 total employees and gave them each a $10 an hour raise, right? If the average salary is 12 and we want to get to 22, give everybody a $10 an hour raise, that would cost the company $2,100,000.
No.
Right? I mean, it's
200,000 times 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, per hour. It'd be $2 million per hour.
Oh, that's right, $2 million per hour.
But that's also everybody who gets paid, right, is making more than that at their job, or they wouldn't be getting paid. It's like, so it's really a misnomer to go, we can't afford that.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, of course you can.
So I wanted to kind of pose this to you guys and see where you're at with, I understand, especially in the restaurant industry, and the tipping culture has just gotten friggin' out of hand, right? I'm supposed to tip like the guy at the gas station now, and just
Wait,
everything
what?
else. Well, there's places that put out little things, and if somebody gives me good service, I'll give them. I tip that guy because he freaks me out.
I grew up a poor black boy. Yeah, the jerk. That was such a funny
Oh
movie.
my goodness. I'm gonna invent a little eyeglass holder.
Yeah, no, it's
Cause
great.
everybody to go cross-eyed.
Yeah, well then, because if the volume is there and the growth is there, then you just raise the price, whatever incremental amount equals that $10 an hour, right? And in California, they're not making $12 an hour anyway. That would be someplace without a minimum wage, right? Or that's
But
how
on
it all
average,
averages out, right?
yeah.
Well,
If there's a bunch of people making $7 an hour at McDonald's too, right in Alabama, or
Right.
whatever, that's
Yeah.
But,
I think you have to have like 2 or 3 jobs to live in Southern California, or just be wealthy.
Yeah.
something.
have,
Yeah,
like,
well,
or
a
have
lot
12
of places in the
roommates.
U.S. you need to have
In like a
2 to 3
2-bedroom
jobs.
apartment.
right?
Yeah.
Any of those entry-level jobs, right? But they're not just entry-level, right? They're a thing, and it doesn't matter. But overall, isn't that where we need to decide how we're going to structure these businesses, and just how we want to structure how we do business, right? It's never just been a free-for-all. There's always been rules to it, right? And we kind of pretend that it's some kind of
Capitalism will take care of
but
itself or whatever.
it never has, and it's always had to have rules to it, just because that's how that is, right?
Yeah.
So we need to decide what those rules need to look like, and terms like equitable or whatever. I mean, whatever it needs to be to have. To me, the problem really stems from those short-term profit motives, right? Like 90 days is as far as people really want to look down the line, and that's not a way to any type of sustainability.
Yeah. Well, I look at a business like Dick's Drive-In here in Seattle.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with
Dick's
Roundup,
Drive-In?
Bag of Dicks.
Yeah.
Eat a bag of dicks is
Yeah.
not an insult in Seattle. It's a dinner invitation.
Yes.
They pay, I think, $20 an hour to start.
Yeah,
22
and buy your college.
And pay for your college.
Yeah, no, they're
and everything
super good
else.
about it.
Did you know that
Yeah.
Dick's has a food truck? I saw it in Renton today.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
that.
don't
I
eat the
haven't been
beef
to it.
anymore. I don't eat beef, so I kind of miss it. I wish they would have a chicken option or like a
A beyond
whatever.
garden
Still love
burger
their
or whatever.
fries though.
Yeah, their fries are
Dude,
great.
they're
Especially 2 a.m., dude.
Yes.
dude,
the
their
best.
burgers
So
are
good
the
at
best
that
gut
level.
bombs ever. I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're not like gourmet by any stretch of the
$2 deluxe
imagination.
and a fry, dude. And you just
Yeah.
try to choke it down.
I used to get teased by some friends of mine because anytime I went to visit them, it was up on Capitol Hill, and I'd always stop and get like a bag of like 3 or 4 burgers and like a milkshake. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
lactose intolerant. They're like, "Why do you get a milkshake?" I go, "Because they're real milkshakes, and I don't get those very often."
But but they're not charging,
No.
$30 a burger.
No.
No,
right?
they're not. That's like
They're still good prices.
Yeah.
I think the cheeseburgers are like maybe $1.75
And,
if
and
that.
they don't have the buying power that McDonald's does.
Right.
McDonald's doesn't, I'm sure, pays much less per pound for potatoes. I'm sure they pay much less per pound for all of their, pre-food items, cups, all that stuff. You know they do. You know they do. Just,
And it's Seattle, so I'm sure that they've probably gone compostable.
I don't know if they have or not, but yeah, sure, something like that. Which would
Taco
even
Time did.
Taco
right?
Time did. So again, I'm sure that cost them more. But Taco Time is,
Compostable what,
for fast food is expensive,
Right.
But then they treat their people decently, right? As far as wages go, they don't know if they're evil, employers or not. But you know what I mean? It's like, and all their shit's compostable.
Right.
No doy.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like we really do. We need to. That is a necessary step that I think the executive branch of the states can pull off. Actually, if not just legislative, say that all single-use plastics besides medical stuff, has to be compostable because I don't necessarily want medical waste in the same landfills.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everything else, wrappers and stuff like that. There's no way that needs to be 100-year plastic.
Right.
It's just silly.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they can do it,
and if the U.S. Chambers of Commerce are pushing back against legislation, it's a good legislation for working people.
Sure.
That's all I need to know,
Yeah.
right? So, because they've been on the wrong side of history since the day they opened their door. So, and that's the people at the Renton Chamber of Commerce are delightful. I love them. It's the National Chambers of Commerce who have had the ear of our Congress for far too long, and they are the most anti-working people organization of all time. It's amazing.
Sure. What do you guys think about? I mean, we've all worked in the service industry. I don't think when I worked in restaurants, it was mostly like dishwasher and busboy and stuff like that. So I don't think I ever did serving, but I mean, you owned a coffee shop for years.
Why would anybody do that?
But you also worked in, as a barista. I mean, what did you think about the tipping culture and stuff?
Well, but I wish it weren't necessary.
Yeah.
Right? There's like Europe, you don't really tip. You want to know why? Because they don't have to beg to go. They do a GoFundMe to go to the doctor.
Right.
They also don't pay their servers $2.50 an hour.
Yeah, stuff like that.
How do we pass a law that somebody can get paid that little? Because if they don't get a tip.
Because then the owners love it. Because then it's not coming out of the ownership side of things, right? And it's not coming out of the shareholder side of things. It's coming out of the customer side.
That's why it's a thing, because it pays the server a living wage, and the owner of the restaurant gets to keep everything else.
Yeah.
I would rather see tip, because I remember years ago my mom taught me that you double the tax, right, when you tip. And back then, I think the tax rate was like 6 or 7%. The sales tax in Washington State.
Yeah.
It's like 10% now.
Yeah.
So then now I have to do the math, but then I start to feel like if I'm not tipping 20%, I'm a dick.
Oh, right? They're gonna just eyeball it.
Right.
What's his license number? Calling the 1-800-DWE and shit on it.
This guy had a lot to
But am I
drink.
tipping the guy who's just dropping shit? And I personally do, just because I've been in that industry forever, and I hate being poor.
Yeah.
So I just give my money to other people.
Right.
Right. I am a good tipper. I admit that, the Uber Eats driver, all that stuff. I handle my business.
I definitely tip
but
when it comes to the food delivery people like Uber Eats or DoorDash, because I know how much money they make because I've done that.
Yeah.
And
but what, like McDonald's? Do you tip at McDonald's?
No.
No,
I mean, unless it's DoorDash. I mean, you don't tip directly at McDonald's. They don't allow it.
Right.
But I mean, I can tell you the last.
It's weird because you think that they would, because then they'd want to subsidize.
Yeah.
The last 3 times I picked up something from McDonald's, it was like a number 3 meal. So a quarter pounder of cheese, and, a large fry, and a large drink. That's what, like $9-12, and I would get like maybe $3 or $4 from that, if I don't get a tip. That's what I got out of the sale of that burger.
Gotcha. And driving it to somebody and all that kind of stuff?
Driving it to their house from McDonald's. And one of the things I learned is that if you're doing that, guys, and if you haven't figured this out yet, at the end of every delivery, DoorDash and Uber Eats does this too, they ask you, how was this delivery? I always say, no, it wasn't good, because then you can say, low base pay, too far. You know, you can tell it.
Ah.
It was too far to drive, and it was a low. You know, $3.
Like you would say.
I got
as the delivery guy,
$3
you would
from
say.
that $12 item.
Oh, as the driver.
As the
Yes,
driver.
I thought you were like banging on your drivers.
No. This is for the
As
drivers to get a little bit
customer.
more money, because when you do that, the app it uses an algorithm. Depending on how much you're delivering, they will dole out X amount of dollars for whenever you drive to somebody's house from the location they're buying from. And if you tell the app, I'm not getting enough money, it will start giving you more for the next few deliveries.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus, I mean,
Okay.
and it takes you 30 minutes to earn that $3. That's not,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
because you don't get a base pay otherwise, do you?
And there's not a base pay. It's
Yeah.
like you
It
get
is
paid
what that
per
is.
delivery,
Yeah.
and it's like I believe it's based on the distance you drive, and also like what things you're picking up.
Yeah.
Like if I'm picking up groceries from Albertsons or Safeway, which is now the same company, then minimum I think I've gotten from doing like grocery deliveries is $10 minimum.
Yeah, and don't forget that all of these.
And I'm having to lug your fucking gallon of milk and eggs and everything else to your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus gas burn tire.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
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 Et cetera, et cetera. It's
it's-
it ain't easy. If you don't do a lot of it, it's really difficult to
Yeah.
get by with it. And it's just a dangerous job because driving is bonkers.
Right.
Yeah.
And going back, and we talked about this with the legislative branch in Wyoming was gonna outlaw electric cars.
Right,
It's like
right.
because we know who's buttering their bread,
Right.
for one,
Yeah.
and it's the same kind of thing. It's like the ownership class, or what do you want to call it, they want to automate McDonald's. They want to automate delivery.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They want to automate trucking.
Take the
Right?
person out
Just to
of it.
take the human out of it, not for our safety or convenience, by no means, just so they can get a little more shareholder cash.
Yeah,
Right.
they're
That's all
not
that is.
paying
It's like-
somebody to do that anymore.
So when they gripe
Yeah.
about this sort of thing, they would cut your job and not blink.
Right.
Right? So don't feel bad
Yeah.
about saying that we
Yeah.
deserve more pay while we have the chance.
Well,
Right? Because they will eliminate your job as soon as physically
Once they
and
eliminate all
technologically
these
possible.
jobs, is who's going to buy their shit? Right.
Well, then we'll finally get on the UBI and they'll just squeeze us
Which
every
really-
step of the way.
Yeah.
What
Every single drop.
Yeah.
What I think is funny is these are the same assholes who
Because that's
complain.
Keynesian economics. Is you take state money and squeeze it to make private profit.
Yeah.
Right? That's the Chicago School of Economics in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's just dog shit.
Yeah.
What I think is funny is these are the same people that'll complain that there's not enough cashiers at Walmart and there's too many U-checks. U-scan things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you go to the one here in Renton, it's like there's three actual cashiers and like 20 U-scans.
That's because the rest of them got assaulted last week, probably.
Well, no,
They're-
that's been like that for a while, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
But
they can't hire anybody. Nobody wants to work for.
I guess, and nobody
they're
wants
just
to work for
it's,
shit
it's,
wages.
it's less
and,
people to pay, is what it is.
Yeah,
What's the
and
minimum
that,
wage
yeah.
in Washington right now? Is
Uh,
it still 7? No,
In King
it's-
County,
we're
it's
up pretty good,
in
yeah.
King County it's 15.
The state is still federal 7.25.
I think federal might still be 720, which is just
Yeah.
corny.
And it's been that way
720
for,
it's been
like
that since,
25 years or
it's
Yeah,
been-
but the
it's been
chambers
like that
have been
for a lot
saying that when you
longer.
raise wages, you raise costs
The
or
last-
raise prices, and simply isn't so.
But the prices go up anyway.
The last time I worked in fast food, which was 30-something years ago, that was $7.25 minimum wage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awful.
In like the late 80s, early 90s.
That's ridiculous. I remember the first job I got, the minimum wage was $3.35 an hour.
Yeah, I do too. I remember that
Sure.
too.
Yeah. But yeah.
But also,
I wish tipping culture would
Let's get
go.
my own weed. I wish we didn't need it.
Yeah.
I wish we didn't need it. But
If I gotta pay $25 for your burger, then I'll make that choice to pay $25
Yeah.
for your burger. But you adding like a service fee, pay for your
Sure.
employees' health care and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
and then I gotta subsidize them. It's like,
Yeah.
if I got some extra change and they did a great job, yeah, I'll leave them a couple bucks, but I want to know that they're already making.
I also don't like it when you have to share the tips. I mean, if I'm tipping,
Sure.
server 1 and
then it
server
just all
2
goes in the same pot.
wasn't there.
I know.
Yeah.
But that's
And
usually
I mean-
they fight that out in the back over a
Screw
pound
the
of cocaine.
cooks and the dishwashers too, right? Cause
No, they all get tipped out or they get trouble. No, you
Yeah.
always tip out back of the house.
Okay.
Or You'll get
I don't understand that.
I
Why-
mean, and if you ever want to see how like. You know, when you the Serengeti desert, you know, and when water comes in, the lion and the lamb all lay down by the, ever flowing water, and then once it dries up, they attack each other mercilessly. The kitchens are the same.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When things are flowing good, everybody's just lovey-dovey.
Has anybody watched The Bear? Is that what it's called? The
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear? I
No.
haven't-
No. That's a whole other subject we could talk about because I just saw the ridiculous.
Oh, dude, the trailer
which
for
was
that.
The trailer.
The trailer for that was just like it was everything I expected it to be and more.
Yeah.
I thought it was a San Francisco bathhouse film.
Oh,
Anyone?
No. There was wasn't there a show about a Chicago restaurant called was it The Bear?
Oh,
I
I
have
didn't
no
see it,
idea.
but yeah.
Are you
I
talking
heard
about
it's really
Wahlburgers?
No. This
That'd
was
be
with the kid from Shameless was in it. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's really good. But it really gives you that stressed out. This is the life of a restaurant, the kitchen,
man.
right?
Yeah.
People just like,
Dude.
But anyway, yeah.
And the only restaurant movie that I have ever recommended to anybody to watch has been Waiting.
Yeah.
If especially to people who have never worked in the service industry, period.
Yeah.
It's like, this is exactly why you never piss off the people that handle
Right.
your food.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's
But
true.
and if anybody, and any of the Anthony Bourdain stuff is worth watching. That's not a movie.
Right.
That's a reality show, right?
Yeah, but he's really cool, and he's just an insightful human being.
Yeah.
So he's always
Too bad he's
interested.
not with us anymore.
It's a drag. It really is. Yeah,
I have watched a handful.
because he
of
really
episodes.
matured into a good person. He really did. I don't know if he was ever a terrible person, but
He struck me as the kind of guy that you would hang out with after he's had a few beers and he would be all right. But
Sure.
like before he got his buzz on, he was probably
yeah,
not.
and kids
a
are just stressful. And once you're a chef, it's like just like if you've ever done construction jobs, it's like the super's yelling at everybody.
Yeah.
So
You
the chef
were-
is kind of the same way. It's just, and that's kind of the language being spoken,
Yeah.
whether it's dysfunctional or
It's
not.
like-
Have you guys seen the menu?
No, I've
No,
I've
yeah,
seen
exactly,
the
yeah.
ads for it, but I've
Yeah.
never actually
It's
watched.
pretty good. It's pretty good.
Is it a show or a movie?
That's Ray Fiennes,
It's
right?
a movie, yeah. Ray
Yeah.
Fiennes and
The
Anna Taylor-Joy,
Boy then live,
I think her name is.
come to die.
Was that the English Patient you were just doing?
No, that was Harry Potter when
Harry-
Harry Fiennes playing, Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
Never did the Harry Potters.
Yeah, I sure like Ray Fiennes though. I really
Yeah,
do.
he's
Yeah.
What's
like
the one with Angela Bassett? Strange Days.
Strange Days.
That's
yeah.
it's a gnarly movie, but
Yeah.
it's cool. Yeah.
no, he was really good as a bad guy in those Harry Potter movies. He was the guy with
Oh,
no
yeah.
nose.
Yeah, no, he who shall not be named.
Yeah, Voldemort.
Yeah, Ray Fiennes. is
What,
great.
did you just name
He
him?
totally named him.
Voldemort. Yeah.
And now you've angered him.
I'll sleep for you tonight. All right. Well, we could probably spend an entire. show
But anyway, yeah,
talking
don't
about-
trust
Dude,
the
I
corporate
just-
overload. They don't care about you. Work, get as much, money for yourself and your brethren as you can,
Yeah.
and save some in your mattress.
And don't sell yourself short too.
No,
I mean, demand
no.
better.
And stick together. If we
Yeah.
don't stick together, they'll just set us against each other and chew us all.
Right.
So,
There's that.
but it is the larger system that we need to continually look to change.
Yeah.
Right, and just where does, what is the profit structure, right, and what does that need to look like to be sustainable, right?
Yeah.
Because equitable is a whole different subject, but sustainable is something we can all get behind, right?
Yeah.
Or we're just dumb. So let's.
I just realized when I printed this up, I didn't actually get everything bullet pointed properly. Cindy Williams died?
Well, that was,
Oh, yeah.
speaking of working people, Cindy Williams passed away 74 a couple of days ago.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, go and look for Laverne and Shirley. She was the brunette.
Yeah, she did a great job. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
delightful.
and also a couple of really good movies, American Graffiti.
That's right. She's
Oh,
American
yeah.
Graffiti.
Yeah.
What's George Lucas's first?
That
First
was-
major film.
Yeah.
It was first
I guess
first
so.
studio film.
PHX, was his first film.
And Laverne and Shirley. So Laverne and Shirley was a spin-off of Happy
Happy
Days.
Days.
Yeah, it's a
And,
Gary Marshall joint, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Cindy also starred with Richie Cunningham in American Graffiti.
Oh, there
She
you go.
played his girlfriend.
Yeah, Howard. Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Ronnie
Yeah,
Howard.
sure.
Opie Cunningham.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's a great
Who's one of the most amazing directors of all time, if you ask me. Yeah.
It just seems like a good human being.
Right.
And,
He really does.
And his brother's awesome.
Oh, he's
yeah.
great. Oh, yeah, no, he's in
Oh,
Star Trek.
Clint Howard.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Clint Howard is the best
And
character actor ever.
Yeah, he shows up just often enough. You know, he's great.
He was making like random cameos in like early like Adam Sandler movies, and the best one is from Little Nicky.
Oh, nice. All right.
If you've never seen
Little
it,
Nicky.
he was the Kendall Lax guy.
Yeah. My favorite part of Little Nicky was the pineapple and Hitler. That was.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you gotta see that. It's just
dude,
ridiculous stupidity fun. But
Oh god, it is probably one of my favorite movies that like heavily like highlights heavy metal.
Oh, right.
It's it's
yeah.
one of the best lines in there is like he's playing one of the guys is playing Chicago. He's playing and he starts spinning it backwards. So what is or no, it wasn't Chicago. It was Ozzy. He was playing Ozzy. He started playing it backwards. Like no, Ozzy always came straight with his lyrics. You know, check this out.
Yeah.
He plays Chicago backwards. Spread the blood of the innocent. Like, oh my God, Chicago kicks ass.
Nice. There was a funny story that I read about Cindy Williams when she first, I guess she grew up in the Hollywood area, but one of her first jobs was at the Whiskey A Go Go in 1967, Summer of Love. And she was working as a waitress, and it was like her first night, and I'm going to butcher this story, but share it anyway.
Paraphrase it.
There was a group that came in. It was a couple gals, a couple guys, and Jim Morrison himself, right?
Oh wow.
Sits out at the table. She gets the orders from the other guys. They want double shot of scotch. The ladies want Tom Collins. She gets to Jim Morrison. He's like, bring me a bottle of Jack Daniels. She goes, oh, okay, yeah, no problem, Mr. Morrison. She goes up to the bartender. I think his name was Tony. She says, Tony, I need 2 Tom Collins. I need 2 double shots of scotch and a bottle of JD. And she's like, we can't do a bottle to the table. He can order a double or whatever, but I'm not sending a bottle to the table. So she goes, okay. She goes back to the table and she hands everybody else their drink. She says, oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Morrison. I can't. The bartender says I can't bring you a bottle out here. And he's like, no, you go tell that bartender that I want a bottle right now. And she goes, oh, okay. Sorry, Mr. Morrison. And she goes back up to the bar and she's like, Tony, he won't take no for an answer. And Tony looks at her and says, is that Jim Morrison up there again? And she's like, yeah, it's Jim Morrison. She says, well, you go tell that son of a bitch that he knows he can't have a bottle at the table. You just go tell him this. She goes back to the table and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, but the bartender says, no, I can't have a bottle at the table. I can't bring you one. Jim Morrison says, is that Tony up there at the bar? You tell that son of a bitch to bring me a bottle right now. So she goes back and says, Jim Morrison's getting very angry and he says he wants a bottle right now. And he said, no, he's not getting a bottle. You tell him if he asks again, I'm throwing him out of here. So she goes back to the table and she's like, Mr. Morrison, I'm so sorry. I can't bring you a bottle. I'm sorry the bartender won't do it. And then finally Jim says, you know what, honey, just bring me a double JD and I'll be good with that. And then all the waitresses and the bartender, everybody starts laughing, and I guess this is a running joke between Jim Morrison and his bartender, because he comes in all the time, and this is a game they play, and they threw her in the middle of it.
Oh my God! What an asshole!
Oh, Jim, we miss you. So Cindy Williams, very sad. I think only 74. I don't know that I remember her being in much recently or nothing that I've seen.
I think the last time I saw her in anything, it was a sitcom where both her and Penny Marshall show up as Laverne and Shirley for another sitcom.
Yeah.
They weren't called those parts, but they were playing those parts.
Yeah.
They had other names, but they were basically just playing older versions of the characters they played back in the 70s.
Nice, yeah. I think she's the last one of that
sort of core
No,
group.
Michael McKeon is still alive.
Besides Michael McKeon.
For Winnie and Squiggy.
Squiggy's dead. And,
Oh, man.
The Big Ragu was also passed away a couple years ago.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody else from that show, from the Laverne and Shirley show is not with us anymore.
Wasn't there a Carmine involved somewhere?
Yeah.
the Big Ragu.
Yeah,
The Big Ragu,
yeah.
He had a lot of problems too, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
But,
Oh man! I mean, it has been decades since I've seen Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, and that was
But
an
Penny
interesting
Marshall's
show.
doing some directing there, and
Yeah, she was.
yeah.
She did League of Their Own.
League of Their Own. She did a bunch of
that's
stuff.
A big one. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, there was a bunch of movies she did, but that's like the one I remember. I know
that's
she's
huge.
done some other
Yeah.
great movies. I'm drawing a blank on.
Yeah.
You know what? I have the Google machine right here.
Wow.
Well,
Let's-
Laverne and
let's-
Shirley
let's-
was like one of the first shows to sort of feature working class folks, right? Because they were a couple gals, single gals, living together, working at the brewery.
In Milwaukee.
Was it Schmaltz
Yeah.
Brewery or something?
Yeah.
Schultz.
Schultz, was it Schultz?
Because it's like
Shots.
Schlitz.
It was Shots.
Yeah, it was
Shots.
supposed to be a spin-off of Schlitz.
Yeah,
right,
yeah. And they did the whole Schmiel, Schmozzle.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually recently found out that was actually Yiddish, and I had no
Oh, sure,
idea.
Yeah, I mean it's American Yiddish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then recently, people have been saying there's a trend where you mix like Pepsi and milk, right?
Well, that was a thing that
But
Laverne did on the
that
show.
On the show, yeah. And I was like, I knew about that friggin' in the early '80s. Man, come on.
Okay, so that show ran from 76 to 83.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And what was I
Okay.
looking up again?
I have no idea.
Penny Marshall's
Fireman?
directing. Okay, that's right.
Oh.
I forgot. Yeah. She directed Big,
Oh, gee.
A League of Their Own, Awakenings, The Odd Couple, the new version of The Odd Couple with
That's right.
Thomas Lennon and what's his face from Friends. Scooby-Doo and oh wait, these are acting. Never mind. Hold on. Let me go.
Oh.
Let me go back and look at her
The Odd
directing.
Couple with Bane and.
Directing. She directed 16 different things. So she
Good job.
she directed The United States of Terra. According to Jim, Preacher's Wife,
Oh yeah, what the fuck happened
Renaissance
to Jim
Man,
Belushi?
Yeah.
Big, Tracy Ullman Show.
Yeah. So she had a pretty good,
Yeah.
long time
Yeah.
directing career.
Did a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
Cindy, though, I don't.
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Let's,
Yeah.
well, let's go back and look.
But yeah, that was one of the first shows I remember watching as a kid. That and Happy Days and stuff like
And
that.
also, yeah, who else? Tom from the band Television passed this way.
Oh, did he really?
Tom Reliant. Yeah.
Oh, because what's his face has been dead for a long time, right?
Let's see.
That's still bad. Is the
Richard Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite some time.
Yeah.
I think the last acting job she had was from 2020,
Oh.
and it was in a
Oh,
movie
yeah.
called Cannon Land, CANAAN.
Oh, like Kanon?
All right. Yeah. So rest in peace, Cindy Williams.
Yeah, geez, I guess if you had
Our
a
childhood.
curry restaurant that was also kosher,
Yeah.
that'd be Kanan and curry. Like instead of Don and curry, it'd be Kanan.
I don't know what any of that is.
Oh.
I just was told to hit the button.
Yeah. Another story I found interesting, and we'll have to talk about this because there's some other famous ones that happened, but Sarah Michelle Gellar, you remember her from Buffy the Vampire
Yes,
Slayer?
and she
I
was
didn't watch it.
Daphne in the
And
Scooby-Doo
Daphne in
movies.
the
Oh,
Scooby-Doo
sure, sure,
movies. She was interviewed, and she revealed that because she was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that she missed out on some primo movie roles from that era
Yeah.
because she couldn't take time off from the TV show to go film the movie. So she says she missed out on Fight Club, American Beauty, The Wedding Planner, and Gangs of New York. You remember Bill the Butcher and all
Yeah.
that?
Oh yeah.
Don't know. I would assume she's probably thinking she got the lead role, so Gangs of New York was probably the Cameron Diaz role.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Fight Club might have been Helena Bonham Carter's role.
That would be weird. And nobody is better than.
No.
No offense to Meryl
No.
Streep. Well, Helena
Yeah.
Bonham Carter is the best living actress.
Yeah.
You know, I know we just last week we were like, there's no such thing as the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
It's
you
not
said
subjective.
that.
Oh, yeah, sorry. But she's the best.
You know, I like her in the things I've seen her in, but I wouldn't say she's the best.
She's amazing. Oh, okay. I'm not going to,
Yeah.
I mean,
burn any house down
Is
over
she
it,
still
but-
married to Tim? What's his face? Oh,
Tim
God.
Burton? I don't
Burton,
think they're
yeah.
married anymore.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that was a
Yeah,
thing.
I don't
Yeah.
think they're married anymore. She was in, and this is kind of funny too, because I was going to talk about this last week, but Julian Sands. You remember Julian Sands?
Yeah.
He, the actor,
Warlock.
The
Oh,
Warlock.
yeah.
Yes. He has come up missing, and I haven't heard if they found him yet. He went hiking somewhere down in California
Oh,
and
geez.
got caught in those storms, and they haven't found him yet. And they
man,
did long search, and now it's been
Oh.
at least a week and a half or something.
Jeez, that's
but
a drag.
they starred, Helena Bonham Carter and Julian Sands starred in Room with a View, which is like one of those 100% Rotten Tomato type movies. But that was the one. Remember the what's the movie? The art house movie theater in Seattle.
Nevertown?
No.
Oh.
It'll come to me. But anyway, this is one of those movies
Guild
that
45?
one of these movies that they play all the time there because it's so such a
Artsy fartsy.
Yeah, it's kind of like my left foot or whatever that one with Daniel Lewis and stuff.
Yeah, that guy's capable.
Yeah, that guy's pretty capable too. He's retired now though.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, until he gets.
You know, Gangs in New York is rough.
Yeah, he was brilliant in that.
Yeah. Yeah, or there might be blood.
Yeah, it might be
It's
blood.
just hard.
I drink your milkshake.
Yeah, he's not afraid to go extra. Like, man.
Yeah, and
You
Paul
went extra,
Dano
bro.
hung with him too. That was a very good movie. I'm gonna have to watch that again.
I'm actually. I
Julian Sands
found an
missing.
article
Yeah,
on
I don't know if that was
on MSN, and there's no mention of him being found.
Yeah.
Bummer.
So-
I don't know. After a certain amount of time, that's not looking
Yeah,
good.
it's not likely. at this point.
Because once it's below like 45
Yeah,
degrees.
hypothermia,
Oh, man, bummer. Yeah,
lack
it's
of
awful.
food,
Yeah, it's
injuries.
awful.
Well, if you went hiking alone, that's stupid. number
I've done
one.
it a number of times, and it's a terrible idea each and every
Yeah,
time.
just
It really is.
never
'Cause
go
that's where
alone
if you
when you're
twist
going
your
for a
ankle,
hike.
it's
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
a deadly injury, right?
Yeah.
Because if you hike 3 hours in when you're healthy and you get a twisted ankle, now it's 12 hours out.
Yeah.
You know,
I used to
hard-
drive up to Paradise in Mount Rainier
Mhm.
and by myself, and I would find one of these little, they have the signs for the trailheads. So I'd just pick a new one every time, and I wouldn't know where I was going, and nobody knew where I was, and I would park my car right there and get out and start walking. And like you said, you would walk about 2 hours in and go, okay.
That's
Yeah, that's what young people do,
Yeah.
right? And that's why old people worry about young people.
Right.
That's when you do like a Google Maps thing where you share your location when you're
Yeah.
going
And this is
someplace.
sort of pre GPS and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This
But,
was in my
yeah.
20s and 30s.
Yeah, back in my really dumb years.
Yeah.
I didn't have any,
I mean-
any fallback
When I was-
technology or a flare
It's
gun.
one of those, here's a fence, drink it.
When I was a teenager, I grew up out in Issaquah, which is Tiger Mountain and Squaw
it's
Mountain
great.
and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
We used to go hiking up in those hills, and there's caves up there.
Yeah,
And
sure.
we would as teenagers would go, hey, let's go in the cave. This will be fun.
What's the worst could happen?
What could possibly happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Today if I heard someone going up and possibly going in a cave, don't do that because you don't know if there's going to be a collapse. You can get stuck in the
Oh, yeah, or
mountains.
something living in there already.
Yeah.
There's a bear.
Someone.
There's a bear hibernating. Sasquatch. You might run into Bigfoot.
Well, there are big cats there.
Well,
We do have them.
yeah.
Even I want to fight a 50-pound bobcat,
No.
let alone like a 120-pound cougar. You know?
Right, right.
It's like
Actually, I have a story about a bobcat.
I don't even want to fight my cats when I was younger.
yeah.
They
An
have
8-pound
sharp
cat
claws.
hurts. Oh yeah.
So in like the early to mid '90s, I spent a lot of time out in Port Angeles, Washington. That's where
I
my
love
dad-
the PA. I do. I love
PA,
that.
Port Scandalous, as my brother used to call it. But I spent a lot of time out there because my dad's out there, or was out there. And I met this dude when I was out there one summer, and he had a local bulletin board system. This is before the internet days. And so got talking, he was a cool guy, and went over to his house and hanging out. And he was, hanging out, and he was cooking up a steak, and one of his friends came over with a bobcat, a pet bobcat.
Badass.
And this cat, his paws were as big as my
Yeah, no,
my
they're
hand.
business.
And
Oh, yeah.
huge. And when this thing growled, it sounded like a big cat, but this cat was only this big. It looked like a 30-pound house cat.
Todd's like, here, have my steak.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll share.
And not far from what actually happened. What happened was this guy was cooking the steak on the stove, and the cat was doing this pacing in front of the stove. And just kind of growling like a cat would be like it's stalking food. And I'm like, hey, Jim, you might want to give him a piece of that before you start eating it, because he will take it from you. And the owner's like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. The cat will take it from you. And she was showing us, she had all these scars on her arms. And she's like, what are those from? He's like, I was playing with the cat. You were playing with the cat.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Let me get this straight, Todd. So you met this guy who runs a electronic bulletin board.
Like,
Started chatting with him, and that same day you went back to his
no,
house.
it wasn't the same day. But,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
I just truncated the fucking month long like chatting up with this dude.
I was gonna say
He invited me to hang out with he and his friend.
Napoleon Dynamite
Todd
works out
some
great for Kip, dude.
candy.
Yeah.
I was no, it was
Father's the best thing that ever happened.
it was the 90s. It was before the internet. It wasn't. I didn't have any kind of like this is a bad idea to me. And just I was meeting people through the bulletin board instead of going to like a park or something.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the next thing you know, Todd's in a well being,
No,
measured for a skin suit.
I was freaked out by that cat though because of the way he was growling. He was just walking back and forth in front of the stove. I was like, Jim, you might want to give him a pizza.
Yeah, is that comforting? Is that aggro? I don't
He
know what
was-
this guy's
he was like,
personality is.
It's like when your cats will be like, pacing because they're hungry, they want food, and they're telling you that they want food. Imagine that, but with an animal that has switchblades for fucking fingers.
And has been eviscerating things its
Right.
whole life. You know what I mean? It's like, I just want to.
It's not gonna ask nicely for it. It's gonna take it from you.
I kind of want one though.
I actually years later I was like, that would be cool to have that cat. But at that moment I was freaked out. I was like, no, don't.
I've
I
never
don't.
seen a big cat on a hike.
I mean,
but,
he was
I've seen
he was like
Prince,
35 pounds. He was not a small cat, but he was.
Yeah, that's big enough.
You know.
Well, dang.
So Julian Sands.
So,
sorry,
well,
I
Michelle,
like-
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh yeah.
Did-
Yeah, that's a drag.
I mean, the most famous one I know is that Magnum PI Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck, yeah.
was up for the role of Indiana Jones, and he
Oh,
couldn't,
yeah.
he couldn't play it because he was contractually obligated.
Magnum
to
PI.
do it.
Are those like no competition clauses or
I
just
don't know.
timing?
Yeah,
I
I
honestly
think
Scheduling
just
comments.
timing.
The other one that I heard, and he said no
I
because
don't
he
know.
didn't think it was going to be a good movie, but Will Smith said no to Neo.
He did,
Oh,
yeah, and I
jeez.
don't know if that was timing. I can't imagine anybody.
I think he
down
just
that
said no
road
because he
now.
didn't want to do it.
No, and I can't picture anybody but Harrison Ford. as
Right.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I don't. Wasn't Tom Selleck stealing a bunch of water? Remember that when Tom Selleck got busted and fined because he was
that
like,
him?
yeah,
or
there's
was that
water restrictions on. I
in
feel like it
California or
was,
something?
yeah.
I didn't hear anything about
He
that.
just
Yeah.
like a really jerky thing, and then he was jerky about it,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. And I don't
Okay.
want to speak out of turn, so I'm not totally positive of that
I
story.
remember a star,
Yeah.
celebrity doing that. I don't remember it being
Yeah.
Tom Selleck, but
I was so disappointed in the mustache.
Dude. You know, the other thing is like when they came out with the new version of Magnum PI, I fully expected him to make an appearance as like Magnum's dad or some shit.
Mm.
He's never been on a show and he doesn't want to be on the show. The other guys who were like his buddies in the original show, they made appearances.
Yeah, one of them just passed away.
Both of them are gone now.
Are both of them gone now?
The first one to die was I can't remember.
Hillerman.
The black dude. Was
No,
the
I
first
think
one.
Jonathan Hillerman, the guy that played Higgins.
Oh yeah, he died years and years ago. But
And
like
then,
his
yeah.
two friends that were always
The
helping him
TC, the helicopter pilot, I
TC
think just died.
in the last year, yeah.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
other guy died a year or two before that because both of them were in the first season of the new show.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
They played other characters.
Tom
but-
had better stuff to do, I guess.
He was-
Still busy stealing
No,
water.
he's on Blue Bloods.
He's
No,
on-
I-
he's
Same
trying
now-
to do a live action
it's-
Take Girl.
It's
Wait, no, sorry.
that was already a thing.
Yeah, I know, but is that all about stealing water? Is that what the whole Take Girl thing is?
Oh yeah, it was.
Except that's Malcolm McDowell as the villain because it's
Or
Malcolm
there was
McDowell.
also there was also that that one about the they're looking for the land and the Kevin
Waterworld.
Waterworld. Yeah.
Man,
It's
I saw
on my
that in the theater.
list.
Yeah.
It's on my list for later today in our
Dude, we're
top
gonna talk
five.
about Waterworld.
Well, we're talking
Oh.
about top 5
Oh yeah.
apocalyptic.
Oh,
Top
sure.
five
what we think or
Yeah,
hope
yeah.
will be
all
the
time
end of
ways the
world.
world's going to end.
Oh,
That's
man.
going to be
I
our
know,
bonus
yeah,
content,
I forgot.
folks.
The part, I don't know, because in Waterworld there's like that massive, like whatever kind of creature that was. It's like super huge. It's bigger than any whale of all time. Just the most giant sea creature ever.
Yeah.
And he blows it. So it's a 10,000-year-old iconic, one-of-a-kind sea creature, and it's not like he's killing it to eat it.
In
It's
the
just
water
like-
world?
yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, that's the
this.
beginning. He harpoons it and then blows it up.
Blows it up. It's
Yeah.
like some magnificent
And he
creature,
has-
and he's like, "Fuck it, I
he
can
has
eat it."
huge
It's like if you
sections
kill
of-
every buffalo, just leave them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, thanks,
I
white
love
water
the
man.
tongue, right?
A year ago, last November, I was in Southern California, and we went to Universal Studios, and we did the Waterworld thing, and that was.
They have a Waterworld thing?
Yeah, at Universal Studios. There's like a stunt show.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool, right?
And there's a whole. It's basically a play on water. It's this massive tank of water, and they have jet skis are running around chasing each other, guns going off and pew pew, and flamethrowers and shit, and a plane comes out of nowhere and lands in the pond, and yeah.
Okay.
It was. I mean, it's if you ever go to Universal, that's definitely a thing you should do.
And that was Dennis Hopper, right? Was
Yes.
that guy?
Yeah. Hopper.
He plays the best bad guy.
He plays a great Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
He's
Well, I
great.
mean, if anybody other than maybe Mark Hamill or Jack Nicholson, I would have thought he would have made a good Joker.
Sure. And he seems a little like, because he's obviously a highly intelligent person, but he does seem bonkers. And I think, to me, the Joker's always a highly intelligent human being, maybe too smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he just doesn't know how to deal with this mundane existence or whatever.
Right.
So he's trying to spice it all.
Spicy.
Yeah,
Spicy
Hopper and
with
Apocalypse Now is just a delight.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody does a good job,
Right.
but
He was actually one of the better parts of the Mario Brothers movie from the '90s as well.
geez, I don't remember a Mario
What
Brothers
did he do in
movie.
Mario Brothers?
It was John Leguizamo and John Hoskins.
Oh yeah, Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what did Hopper do?
He was King Koopa.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And that's all practical effects weirdness, isn't it?
I mean, it was okay, folks. It's not a great movie, but it's a good bad movie. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not even a good movie, but
Well, plus they wrap, because I think Bob Hoskins he's Oscar nominated, I believe. And John Leguizamo is a great talent.
very.
Yeah.
And also the Street Fighter movie had like Raul Julia in it.
Yeah, that was his
who
last.
also, I think he's an Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
That was his
Right, so
last
it's like
movie
so
too.
even these weird, kind of seemingly low budget practical effects video game spin-off movies have like top-notch talent.
Yeah.
Proof that like the best movies that are like sci-fi fantasy related are better when it's mostly practical effects. Now some good ones have a mixture of both. Like Where the Wild Things Are. Have you ever seen that movie?
I did.
Yeah, that's a
That was
Spike
that was
Jonze
a
movie.
hen, those were Henson Creatures. Jim Henson Creature Shop made all those monsters, and they used both practical effects because they were puppets, giant puppets, but they also had digital shit on the faces, and the faces were all digital.
Todd, when we talk about puppets, it's probably good to have Derp here.
Yeah, well, Derp is more.
He's at home. He's resting. He was busy making TikToks earlier
Oh,
today.
geez,
so.
TikTok is fantastic. Good job, Derp. You know, I just want to say Yerp to the Derp.
Yerp to the
Yerp to the derp. Does anybody even know what the fuck that even means?
Yes.
I think
'Cause-
Derp does.
Because if anybody would know it, you would think it would be me because it's that's basically me.
Wow!
It's
Don't
like
sell Derp.
affirmative.
Yerp to the- So I mean, it's not the same as yeet because yeeting is like tossing something
I
or
think,
throwing something.
No. This is like an affirmative.
It's like okay.
It's an
what's
affirmative.
that?
Like
Oh,
yes, you say yes to the dress. Yerp to the dirt.
Yerp to the Derp.
So it's saying yes to being
Why not?
Okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being because I do that frequently. I mean, I just did twice in the last minute. So
Right on.
yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna be putting this on the car in the back of my truck. What truck?
Oh, nice.
All right. Anybody else got any other news?
Geez, I was working a lot this week, and I wasn't doing my usual news junkie thing.
Right.
I mean, I spent a lot of money on news magazines.
Yeah.
Well,
it's kind of shameful because everybody else buys like
James
cool
Gunn.
things, but
James Gunn recently gave us the 10-year plan for the DCU.
a
DCU.
10-year plan.
Well, I thought they scrapped everything.
So
they
he's
did,
the relaunch.
But this is going to be the Flash is going to be, I think, the next DC movie. Actually, take that back. It's going to be Aquaman. I think is coming up next. But the Flash movie is going to be kind of the reset of the DC extended universe.
I wonder
So
if it's going
all
to be like a Flashpoint event or
It's
whatever.
well, the movie's called Flashpoint. So
Oh!
Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay,
so we're-
well, that's a great way to do that. isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. I
So,
mean,
because that's where he kind of cracks.
I gotta find out.
the barrier between all
I
these
posted
realities.
about it on
So,
the
their
other
multiverse
podcast.
or whatever.
Let me see if I can find the thing. It was basically, it gave a list of movies and shows, TV shows, DC Universe shows, live action and animated.
Jeez, well,
Let's see here.
I think I just saw a preview for Shazam. For the
Yeah.
next Shazam.
I
that-
believe Dame Helen Mirren is in that.
Fury of the
Yeah.
Gods. That's going to be one of the next ones. It says here, number one on the chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, and that's DCU chapter 1. Then it says Superman Legacy. It's a movie. Number 2 is going to be The Brave and the Bold.
Oh, Harry Cavill.
No Henry Cavill. The Brave and the Bold is going to be a Batman movie. Then we have
With which Batman?
I bet
it's
a new
neither
one.
of the current Batmans.
Okay.
So it's going to be somebody different.
Something brand new. Huh?
It's not going to be
Sean
Bat.
Connery.
It's not going to be Batfleck or
In holographic.
the Vampire Bat guy.
Huh.
And then we have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Huh.
A
Is
movie.
that Gal Gadot again? Gal
No,
Supergirl.
that's Wonder Woman.
Supergirl.
Oh,
is-
Supergirl. Sorry, I was.
Yeah, different
Who
character.
I always, because she's also on one of the television that.
Yeah, this is going to be a whole different Supergirl. This is not going to be the same story as,
Sure.
as the one from the CW. Swamp Thing is going to be a movie. Waller is going to be a TV show starring Viola Davis.
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
a while. Yeah.
And then
So that's kind of. I mean, she's been that for all the Suicide Squads,
Yeah.
but she also was in Black Adam, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, which I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
That's
Spoiler.
good. If you haven't, I don't care what anybody says about that movie. I liked it. I thought
I
it was
enjoyed it.
great.
I just haven't been to the theater yet, and it's not streaming.
And then the last two things are TV shows: Booster Gold,
Nice.
which I'm all for, and then Paradise Lost, which is a Game of Thrones style show about Themyscira, which is where Wonder Woman's from.
Nice.
Oh, that's great.
So
Yeah, like
yeah.
Paradise Island, they call it.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
going to
that's
be
great.
about the island of Themyscira, which is where she's from and everything. So this is for I didn't read all of them off, but yeah, if you go to our Facebook page, I'm pretty sure I posted it there, but if not, I'll post it again.
All right.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And, by the time these are all done, I'm going to be in my 60s. I'll be like, yay, Superman!
That's right, because he's 10-year plan. Holy crap.
That's bonkers.
But, the way the DC universe has been going lately, it'll be the 2.5-year plan, and then they'll start.
No. With James Gunn at the helm, I think he's got a good hold on the DC. He's a fan himself,
Okay.
so it's not.
And then he's been given the keys to the kingdom.
He's
right?
essentially
Yeah,
the DC equivalent of Kevin Feige
Yeah.
with the Marvel
Yep.
Cinematic Universe.
Well, he did Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Did all 3 Guardians movies.
Yeah.
And the third one hasn't come out yet, but he did that before he jumped ship and came over to Warner Brothers.
Went to the Evil Empire.
No.
I'm a Marvel guy myself.
I'm excited to see what he does with Batman because I'm really hoping that the Prime Universe will be Michael Keaton.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping it's not a friggin' another origin story.
It's
right?
not going to be.
It better not be.
It's
yes.
not going to be.
Oh my
In
God.
fact, that's one of the things they said. Like going forward, everyone knows the origins of the Trinity. We're not going to do origins
We don't need it anymore.
of those anymore. If we're going to do any origin stories, it's going to be characters that people aren't, and the average person isn't going to be aware of.
Yeah. I mean, so they introduced Hawkman in Black Adam.
Yeah.
And Dr. Fate.
Yeah,
and,
Dr.
I'm
Fate.
so
Is it Hawkman and Hawkwoman? Are they both in it?
No, it's
she's
just
not
him.
in it. And what was the kid? The Adam kid?
Adam Smasher.
Adam Smasher.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, and then who was the gal that was?
I don't remember who she is, but she has powers of some sort. I don't remember.
Jeez, it's not streaming yet, right?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on
Is
HBO,
it on
Max.
HBO Max?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I saw.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I saw it in theaters. I as soon as it came out on HBO Max, I watched it a second time, third time.
Huh.
I liked it. I enjoyed it, and I don't know why people are whining about it. I
Well,
guess
because there's always gonna be a hater. It doesn't
Well,
matter. It'd be like if the Mona Lisa came out today,
Yeah.
somebody'd poo-poo it. You know
Why
what I
isn't
mean?
she
It's like,
smiling enough?
yeah, people like you more if she smile.
that's you know what it is. She's not really smiling. She's not smiling. She has gas. It's clear.
Clearly.
But I don't
you
know.
what I mean? It's like I don't know. I don't know what.
The one thing I heard.
You know, and I live my life fairly contrary to a lot of our major systems, right?
Yeah.
But I don't do that just to be a thorn in the side, especially if
Right.
people create it. And I understand that, like, Warner Brothers is a big company, and Marvel, Disney, whatever is a big company, but so what? It still comes down
And
to
they're
human
never going to
beings
get everything
creating
perfect.
something.
Well,
Right.
Well, and it is what it is. Just take it for what it is. It's still
Yeah.
a piece of work. It's okay. Just take it for what it is.
The one thing I heard people complain about is The Rock wasn't in the movie enough. The movie's called Black Adam, and you only see him for like maybe 25% of the time.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know,
Was it? I don't know.
I don't think it was. And I really don't think it was that little. I think he was in the movie more than that. But that's what they were saying. Like he's not in the movie enough. The movie's called Black Adam, and he's not. It's all about these other fucking people. You know, why are we caring about the Dr. Fate and the hot dude? You know,
He's in it, but like in the opening scenes, it focuses on a kid.
His
And I
son.
won't spoil it.
I just did.
It focuses on his son. He's there.
Earmuffs.
Sorry.
He's there,
Yeah.
but you just don't. You don't.
And he hasn't been granted his powers yet, right? So he's not really Black Adam yet. He's still
Well, no.
just a regular
Well,
dude,
he
right?
gets his powers, and then he gets sort of frozen in a way.
They
So
put him in carbonite
Yeah.
for,
no,
for a minute,
Yeah.
and then he.
They went Captain America with it. Yeah.
So yeah, no, and like I said, I enjoyed it. I'm one of those people that will watch it for what it is. I'm not gonna be like comparing it to other shit because why ruin a movie like that?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it's a comic book movie. It's not like we're watching. It's something that's gonna get nominated
It's not
for like.
Shakespeare.
Gaslight.
It's not gonna be. It's not gonna get nominated
yeah.
for Best Picture ever. Those movies
Yeah.
won't.
Sure.
They're
Although, I mean,
popcorn movies.
And arguably, Everything Everywhere All at Once is a superhero movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to talk about that tonight.
It's a great movie.
It's such a good movie.
Loved it. Oh my god.
I mean,
Elements of sci-fi and kung fu
It's
movies.
got it all. And it really is a self-help movie.
Enjoy a Luck Club.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Don't be afraid of your own success.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to sum up
Yeah,
what it's
yeah,
for because it ain't my movie.
Right.
But that's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, don't be your own worst enemy.
Right.
And then
And be nice to your kid.
It stars. I never
Kid
remember
might
the dude's name, but he was the one who played Short Round and
In,
Yeah, no, he does a great job.
and
Yeah,
Data
yeah.
from Goonies.
Yeah.
And this is like the first movie he's done in like 30 years.
Yeah. And he wasn't nominated, but Michelle Yeoh, am I saying that right?
I think so.
I think yeah.
She was nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah, no, she's a world treasure. She should
Jamie
just
Lee
get a
Curtis,
pass.
I don't know why she didn't get nominated for supporting actress. She was wonderful.
I thought
Yeah,
she
good
did.
job. I thought she did.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe she did.
I thought she
And I
did.
think
Maybe
the
she
directors
did.
are both named Daniel, so I call them the Daniels.
The Daniels.
But I think they got nominated.
Best director.
I really hope that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I
think he got nominated for
Yeah.
the most this year.
Maybe. I thought it was just really well done.
I thought it was
I
great.
really did.
I thought it was
enjoyed
great. The whole Zonkers multiverse thing
Yeah.
and the way you have to get into one universe, you have to do something crazy. So they're like splashing hand sanitizers into their eyes. You had to pee your pants. You had to give yourself 4 paper cuts.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely ridiculous, but it was awesome.
Yeah, just a cool take on it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really imaginative.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel for the characters,
Right.
right? Yeah, all of them, even the
Yeah.
bad person, right?
Yeah.
Even the foil or whatever you want to call it.
So the actor's name is Jonathan Key Kwan.
Yeah.
Is the guy who played Data in Goonies and Short Round in Temple of Doom. There's been a few times, I guess, in the last few weeks, maybe even a month or so, of him like showing up as standing next to Harrison Ford. And I'm really hoping that Short Round makes an appearance
Oh,
in
geez, that would be
5.
That would be fun.
As now a 50-year-old kid,
Yeah.
you know.
Have they started shooting?
They're finished.
Yeah.
That movie's coming out this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Well, then I sure hope
It
so.
was finished like 2 years ago.
They'll just diddly put him in now that he's a hot topic.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he'll just pop up.
He'll be like in the post-credit scene with the
yeah.
baseball cap and like, Dr. Jones!
And speaking of which, if you go to our website
Yep.
and go sign up for the bonus content, become a member here, Todd has a very funny blog about alternative movie titles for the new Indiana Jones.
It was
film.
one of those things, and I think I mentioned this last week. Me and a friend this is before they came out with the name of Indiana Jones 5. We were like, he's going to be 80-something years old by the time this movie comes out. What are we going to call this movie? Is it gonna, the Indiana Jones and the cursed, the cursed commode or some shit like that.
Yeah.
We're not ageist, though.
No, not.
I might be a little bit.
Yeah, we are in the premium content.
Ask me in 20 years.
I'm 51 years old. I think I have, I can say some of these things, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you can't make fun of the really old and really young, then
I mean,
And the
I was
really
making fun of 50-year-old people when I was in my
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Todd, for an update on the DC.
DCU is what they're calling it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. You guys want to do a little random question?
Let's
That
do
sound
it.
kind of fun.
Let's do it.
Mike, why don't you lead us off, sir?
Oh,
I'm going to look
boy.
up a good question. Unless you don't have one. Todd, if you have one.
Well, if you guys don't have one, just grab a random card and read off of it. That's what I've been doing.
Oh.
Just pick a card and read it.
Well, geez, I'll at least take a look.
If it doesn't seem like a good question, then pick a different card.
That's a question.
Todd, I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
What's the easiest thing that you refuse to do, but it could benefit your life?
Define easiest.
You define easiest. What's the easiest
I mean,
thing in your mind
what's
that you
easy
can
for
do?
you may not be easy for me.
Exactly.
Is my point. This is something I get all the time because being neurodivergent, I have executive dysfunction problems, where doing it is as simple as I need to clean up my room, or I need to clean my car, and problem I have with doing that a lot of times is I'm overwhelmed by the thought of doing all that in this however long it's going to take me to do it, and just I'll do it later, and because I say I'll do it later, it becomes worse, and then so it's a never-ending thing for me.
Todd was going to procrastinate today, but he decided to wait until tomorrow.
So I mean, it's more of it's less of a I don't want to do it. It's my brain doesn't let me do it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Todd. I get a ton of requests to do stuff at work at my regular job, 9 to 5 thing, and they'll stack up, man. And I'll be like, oh my god, it's too much, and I don't even want to get started on one thing. And then like the next day or a couple hours later, I'll come in. I'll go, you know what? I need to make a list. Right, so I can friggin' check these things off and just start getting them done. And once I kind of get that list going, but I'm right there with you, man. You get so much coming in that you're just like you don't know how to categorize it, and you don't know how to put it in a good order.
Another thing is like I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've always been kind of a night owl, but I get way more done in the middle of the night than I do during the day.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I'll be like, oh, I can do this, and I'll I get hyper focused on doing these things, and then next thing you know, it's been like several hours, and I look at the clock, and the sun's about to come up.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, I don't really have a good answer for that one. I mean, that's something I legitimately do every day. It's like I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that later. I don't have the bandwidth for it right now, and never seem to have the bandwidth until and it's. Or it'll be like, I'm doing something else, and all of a sudden I'll get a hair at my ass and be like, oh, I'll do this, and then 30 minutes later I forgot what I was looking for to begin with.
I get a hair up my ass, and there's something else I got to take care of. I'll tell you, right?
But
How did I get there?
why is it so sticky?
How about you, Mike? What kind of question do you got?
Desert Island Discs top 2.
Oh, for me?
If you could take 2,
Oh my god.
whatever. Somehow you have a magical CD player or
All right.
album.
Just 2?
Yeah, because that's a whole nother episode.
All right.
This will just whet the appetite, and you could get extra on the premium.
I did do a blog on
Oh.
the premium of I think we talked about this, the greatest years in rock and roll.
Sure.
And I picked 5 different years that I thought were the greatest years in rock and roll. You got to read it and find out if you agree or disagree with me, but check it out. My Desert Island Disc, not too hard. I think number 1 would be Learning to Crawl by the Pretenders.
Oh, jeez.
Great tunes on there, especially My City Was Gone and Middle of the Road. But
Wow.
second one would have to probably be. God damn, this is hard.
I know. Isn't that just?
Um,
It is. Something that you could listen to like a number of times, right? Because you're on a desert island
Yeah.
with somehow some magical record player.
Yeah. I think, just off the top of my head, I would probably do Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs by Derek and the Dominoes. Can't do the Layla so much, but like Bell Bottom Blues and some of the
Geez,
jams
why not?
that they do,
Yes, I'm
I would be
surprised
I
on
would be all
both
over that,
counts.
so,
That's-
yeah, I think those
Yeah.
would be my 2.
Is Layla really written about somebody else's?
It
George
is.
Harrison's
It's
lady or
actually
something?
George Harrison's
my
wife
God.
at the time, who ended up divorcing George Harrison and then getting with Eric Clapton
Yeah.
later on, and then of course they divorced because Eric turned into a drug addict and all that stuff. But
Who could have seen
yeah,
that
it was
go?
pining after his best friend's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
And made a hit song out of it.
yeah, Patty Boyd.
Yeah. How do you not get an ass kicking?
Yeah,
You know, I don't
and
know.
that's what I don't get. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe that was
Well, I
after
mean,
George Harrison.
George
did,
Harrison's a
Yeah.
pacifist,
He
isn't he?
seemed not like a really mellow dude.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
what? You've had sex with my wife, huh? Okay. That's not very nice of you.
Oh man, that's kind of bonkers.
All right. Well, I guess the thing I have here on the card, because I couldn't think of any questions. 5 things I'm excited about right now. So I'd be asking one of you guys that question.
You gotta ask Mike, because
Oh.
we go
Okay, right.
I
So
think I'm excited about right now. Well, this podcast.
right this second.
Yeah, and I recently got a camera that we're.
dude, yes,
Yeah.
this
So now I
camera's
can,
so badass. I kind of want one, but I don't have that kind of money right now.
Well, geez, this can be a library, like a library book. We
Oh,
can
that'd
load
be
out.
cool.
So,
Yeah,
no,
we'll
I mean
test it out, see what the
That's what
images, but we're
yeah.
shooting in 1080p right
We
now.
are right
Yeah.
now, and it's up to 4K. It's the Zoom QN8 4K.
Yeah.
And 4K. I do like Zoom products. They're kind of wonky and a
Dude.
little tech heavy, but
Yeah.
this one is pretty user friendly.
Yeah.
If we get
And
the
for-
right cables, we can pair it up with this Zoom device,
Oh.
and then we can record, stereo
Yeah.
audio.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, I
know.
just didn't. I think I just.
In
didn't
fact-
right.
In fact, we were going to use this to record Jamal's show that he was going to do here.
Huh.
He wanted to record it and make it into an album. He said,
Sure.
"Can we use your thing we use for podcasting?" I
Jeez,
said,
yeah, running off the board. Yeah.
Yeah, I can, port it in, our output from the board into this.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited to get doing interviews and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're excited to see him.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just make them have a split personality.
Just interview yourself in front of a mirror. Nice.
Oh, what you should do is record yourself asking questions and get really drunk or high, and then watch the video. Record yourself responding to those questions.
Sure.
Interesting technique.
Yeah.
That way you have I don't remember asking this question, but I'll answer it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I actually did something similar to that with there's this website called wheelofnames.com where you can do like your own like Wheel of Fortune kind of spinning thing. You can add your own phrases or words or names or whatever to make the little pie slices, and as you pick them, you can remove them as you go. I put a bunch of random questions on there, and I hit the spinning wheel, and I'd enter a question based on it,
Nice.
which is probably going to be a bonus content video.
Okay.
So
All right. What else are you excited about these days?
Yeah, 5 whole things. Well, going to California, yay.
Yeah, so you are going to be sort of a roadie.
I am. I'm helping my buddy John Hill of Hills of Comics, brick and mortar location in beautiful downtown Auburn. And he's a comic book.
oh, this is a comic shop. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, he's into it. But he also really has, and not for this particular show we're going to, which is Golden Age Comics. But he's got a bunch of toys. The guy's into really cool, especially our generation.
Is he
So
going to be
which
at the
toys?
Renton City Retro? He should be.
I don't know.
He
I
should
don't know.
be if he's not.
Yeah.
That's coming up soon too. I think it's a retro gaming and like
gaming and
toy like
collectibles.
What's his store again?
Hills of Comics.
And that's in Auburn.
That's in Auburn downtown.
Hey, you have to send me a link to his shop. We'll pop it
Oh,
on
sure.
our.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. I know the guy since grade school.
Yeah, we'll pop it on our website. He's one of the friends of the show.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, we're headed to Costa Mesa, California, which I think is Orange County.
I'm sorry.
I've never been.
Yeah. All right.
And it's a really nice and, from what I understand, kind of high-end golden age comic show.
Okay.
So.
nice.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Nice.
So that's what I'm doing.
And you're doing like 3 different of these trips, right?
Yes, and then the end of March, March 22nd, we do L.A.
Okay.
Which that's not Dragon Con. Because I think Dragon Con is. I
Is
don't
it?
know. I always
Is
get
it?
it mixed up.
Is in L.A. So it's probably L.A. Comic Con.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that one. It's the
That-
big one
that
in
used-
L.A.
It used to be Stan Lee's Kamikaze, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we go driving, of course, from there to Chicago, Illinois.
And driving, because how much
Yeah.
stuff is he bringing? How much does he bring?
Illinois.
Quite a bit. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot. We did Grit City in Tacoma this few months ago, and it's a lot of stuff. He's got a really nice system. So he
Yeah.
has a homemade rack system.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it's all manual labor. You gotta
But
unload, put
better
everything
than
up. Don't
loading in and
no
out.
bending, evidently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do Oddmall coming up.
I was gonna say,
end
yeah.
of April. Is
Yeah.
that gonna overlap, or I think the last weekend of April is when we're.
No, I'll be back for
You'll be
that.
back, okay,
Yeah,
so-
no, I'm gone the first week of April.
Our town on the road.
Yeah,
we're
you
doing
know, yeah. That's Kent,
Oddmall.
right? Yeah.
Monroe.
Oh,
Monroe.
geez, I've been in Monroe quite some time.
Yeah.
Me either. I can't remember the last time I was in Monroe.
Yeah, I used to go to the swap meet over there with my dad.
Nice.
Yeah, odd man,
We'll have to carpool that one.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, I gotta haul some stuff up there because I'm selling games.
Nice.
Yes.
For Duns Cap games, but
Sweet.
yeah. All right. Anybody got any fun things to share and tell this week? Any new shows? or
I've
movies that
been
you've
watching that Hunters show on Prime Video.
Oh, with Mr. Pacino?
Yes,
Yeah.
seen? Oh,
and it's
it's
I
the
think
Nazi
I-
Hunter one.
yeah,
right?
and I think that's part of what put me in a kind of a foul mood the last couple of days because I've been watching a lot of that, and there's some really gruesome shit on there.
Al Pacino has that effect on people.
It's not his
No,
character specifically, but there's some
Cause
things
she's
that
got a
happen.
great ass. Hoo-ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
20% more frothing. But, yeah, but.
Say hello to my little friend. Yeah. But
Geez, you know, I haven't watched that.
it's
Yeah.
I mean it's a good show, but it's really kind of dark and there's lots of just gruesome shit and I'm like, oh my god. I had to take a break from it because I was watching it for I watched 3 or 4 episodes and they're about 45 minutes apiece.
And they've got a couple seasons, right?
Season 2 just dropped, so
Okay.
that's why I binge watched season 1, and then I've been kind of climbing through season 2 a little bit at a time.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
Nice.
a good show, and episode 7 drops tonight at midnight for Velma, and I'm gonna watch that because last week's episode was actually the best of it so far. It actually made me laugh a couple times. Like
Oh, good.
that was actually funny. But yeah, I really don't think that Gen X is the target demographic for that show.
Okay. We're not really the target demo for a lot of stuff these days, but
What channel is that?
Velma is on HBO Max.
Oh, there you go.
And
Alright.
somebody else said, well, there's no Scooby Doo on there. It's like, well, there's reference to Scooby Doo, but it's not a dog.
is there gonna be a dog?
I don't think so.
Because that's the precursor, right?
This is an
character.
Elseworlds Scooby.
Ah.
Yeah. So this is from the perspective of Velma Dinkley,
Sure.
and everybody being 100% different than they were from the original series from like 1969 or any of the other incarnations in the last 50 years. It's it's different.
Yeah.
In this last episode, there was lots of visual like Easter eggs for people who like old Hanna-Barbera stuff. I'm not gonna say what I saw from that episode, but if you like old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, there's some stuff in there, and
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yeah.
And Todd's actually got a
Texas State Slap Defense.
Todd's actually got a review. I think we talked about this last week too on our blog.
Of the first 6 episodes. I think there's a total of 12 episodes, I think, or 10 episodes. So I did kind of a halfway point, kind of, this is what I've seen so far, and this is kind of how I feel about it. And, I mean, yeah, you'll have to check out the video. It's about a 7-minute video. It's not very long, but, you know.
I started watching a new show. I think it came out around Halloween, though. But my daughter turned it on me because turned me on to it.
There you
Why
go.
couldn't I get that
So
out? Wednesday.
Such a good show.
Yeah. I can see that it was made for sort of that teenage audience.
But it was also, there's lots of Easter eggs for old school.
There's some good stuff. And so we finished it last night. Watched episodes 7 and 8. Really liked it. I think they probably could have cut down on some of the teenage romance stuff and maybe shaved an episode. I know that they like having probably about 8 episodes is sort of the thing, but it drew out a little long for me on a couple of things. But and the other thing is I sat down probably 3rd episode, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I was like, oh, I know who the monster is, and I know who the bad person is right now. I can tell you.
I thought I knew who it was, and then about halfway through, I think the 7th or 8th episode, like, oh, that's not them.
Yeah. And my daughter is 12, and I told her, I said, the creature is this guy, and the bad person is this person, and she, did you watch this? I'm like, no. I can tell you right now, it is who it is.
It's essentially a Scooby-Doo series.
Yeah, it kind of is.
I mean, it's not in a bad way.
The actor that plays Wednesday is terrific.
Oh my God, yes.
And I think, I'm not sure, but I think that was Fred Armisen as Uncle Fester.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And I'm like looking at the guy going,
that guy's great.
Where do I know this from? And it's friggin' Fred. He's only in 1 episode.
And then one of the teachers is played by the Wednesday from the 90s movies.
Oh. Which
Christina
teacher?
Ricci?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Christina Ricci, yeah.
She was, that's
she was
right.
Wednesday from
that's
the
a
first
rival
2
Julia.
movies, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't know why I didn't catch that.
Huh.
Yeah, that's like the first throwback to the 90s movies was her showing up. I was like, oh, cool. Who else is going to show up?
Yeah. And they have Gwendolyn. I can't think of her last name from Game of Thrones. She played the Lady Knight. The really tall blonde
she's
lady.
cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny to see her in the Wednesday.
I was going to say that. Yeah, Captain Phasma from the new Star Wars movie.
Yes, absolutely. But it's funny to see her and the Wednesday actor together because their height. So Wednesday actress is probably 5 foot and she's like 6 something.
Yeah, I was going to say she's probably shorter than 5, but yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
She's tall, and the thing is, I saw an interview where she said this is the first movie, or this is the first acting gig where she played a character where people said she was attractive.
Yeah, I always thought she was attractive, even in Game of Thrones.
Well,
I've not watched Game of Thrones. I kind of like I watched the first episode. I was like, yeah, no, I don't need to see anymore. Just no. It was the incest that gave me the yick, so I couldn't go any further.
It's okay. It's the Hobbit, right?
It's I for the longest time I just referred to it as boobs and dragons because
the last episode is one of the worst things that have ever happened.
Yes.
So it's worth it just to see that. It's like a train wreck that you spent, weeks and weeks and weeks investing yourselves into watching, and then all of a sudden it just veers off the rails, and you just kind of go.
I think George R. Martin was like, fuck the fans.
Well, he didn't.
It wasn't him.
No, he didn't do that one.
It wasn't him. It was the because he hadn't written the material for the ending.
Yeah, somebody else. And I've never read any of his stuff, so I don't have a.
He was actually at a local sci-fi convention about 10 years ago, NorwestCon, which is a literary sci-fi convention that happens in it happens Easter weekend every year, and so at the DoubleTree in SeaTac, and so I had a friend of mine who was working like security for the convention, and he would just randomly disappear.
Tom's got insiders.
he would kind of wander away from his keepers, and then because he looks like everybody at a con, they couldn't find him.
That's funny. That's funny. He have his little cap.
And the funny thing is, he legitimately dresses like about 10 different people that go every year to that convention.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
funny. All right, Mike, you got anything to share? You can think it's down to pressure you, man. Not
Just having
too busy.
work, I guess. Yeah, but that's great. I feel good about that.
Have you been to any shows lately that you
Oh,
want to
I
talk
did.
about?
Well, yes. No, there you are. Thank you. Yeah, no, I went to Lucky Liqueur. Perhaps you've heard of it. And saw my friend's band, the Stravinsky Riots, which is my buddy Victor Payne, who's one of the best bass players I've ever met. And just a talented guy. And Stravinsky Riots is a cool kind of, egghead rock, And there were two other bands playing, one of which, and man, I feel bad for saying this, but they are one of the worst bands I've ever seen in my entire life. And I typically don't, because I do, like I was just saying, I want to just be there for the experience.
Right.
But it was really bad.
Yeah.
And so I left, I go outside, and I'm hanging out, and the sound guy leaves. And we just kind of did the cowboy nod.
Man, it's it's bad if the sound guy leaves.
Oh man,
I can't do it.
yeah. Because at first I thought they were kidding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then no, they weren't. And then I thought maybe they're younger than I think they are. No, they weren't. It was just I don't know. It was interesting.
Are they purposely that bad, or
no? That was the trouble.
Really?
And it wasn't ironic. It was just like I don't know.
And they're getting paid to do
and I haven't played Lucky yet. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm good, but fuck it. If that's the caliber of talent, then what's holding me back?
Hey, I could probably go there with the game Rock Band and probably do better.
Man. But anyway, I love Lucky, and I love any live music, any of it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also not afraid to walk outside.
Yeah.
I've been.
Sometimes you have to walk outside.
Yeah, sometimes you just
I
have
think
to
this
walk
month I'm
outside.
gonna try to get to some live shows. I haven't been to a live show.
Jeez, I don't know. We should head down there, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know next time you're going someplace.
Yeah.
I'll go with you.
I guess it won't be this weekend, so I'll be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. No worries. More.
And actually, the cook, Kevin, at Lucky, has an injury, so they're collecting money to help with his doctor bill. So if anybody, you can go online and look up Lucky Lucky and find a list of it. So, because they had a show Sunday, but I didn't go. There was a fundraiser for that, so with Fred and the Heaps. So Fred's a big fan of Theo. And the Heaps is one of my favorite local bands. So.
Oh, the other show I wanted to mention is it's really getting good. I'm getting kind of excited toward the season finale. Is the National Treasure series on Disney Plus? Which is
sure.
really
Yeah.
good.
I haven't checked it out.
Yeah, it's.
And you said Cage made like a cameo.
He did
right?
not make.
Oh, did not make it.
His character is on a phone call, but you don't see Cage.
Okay. Because he did 2 of those, right?
He did the first 2, and I think there's rumors of a third one, but they haven't. Last I heard, they announced the series and that they were going to work on a third movie, but that was.
When did those come out?
10, 15 years ago.
2000.
Or mid
I've never seen
2000s, like
5,
2007,
6.
I think was the last one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but Harvey Keitel's in the series. He's in the first episode.
He's
right?
in like the first 2 episodes.
Okay,
yeah. And not in there a lot, but he's in there.
Yeah.
And his character is kind of part of what brings in the new blood.
Yeah. Is he in the films as well then?
He is. Yeah.
Okay,
He's the FBI agent that is tracking down Benjamin Gates in the first 2 movies. And the first one, he's the one who says that we need to look into this because these aren't normal things that are happening here. This guy gave us a warning. Why are we not looking into this dude? That was the first movie. Second movie was Cage's character is like, hey, these guys are trying to do this, blah blah, and
Oh, Nick Cage.
I love those movies. I wanted them to do more of those. That was kind of like the I would call it the successor to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say
Sure.
it's very, very Indiana.
Is there magic in those films, or is it all just a history?
I mean, there's like
It's no, there's not like magic, but there's some woo-woo stuff a little bit, just because a lot of the stuff people think it's all that's bullshit. That's not really a thing. That's just rumors. So, and he figures out like all
But
the
it's
puzzles.
more logic
But there's-
puzzles than
and,
it.
and it's
than
just one puzzle after
something
another.
else.
And it's the same with the show. Like every time they find a thing, they discover they decipher the puzzle. It leads to another puzzle, and another puzzle, and another puzzle.
Yeah.
It's a lot like life.
And there's no, Indian guy ripping out a heart on somebody or eating monkey.
Yeah.
Or eternal life or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crystal Skull.
Or, you know what I mean? But it's like, which I'm not against.
Which-
But
No.
When Crystal Skull came out, I actually worked at the Lincoln Square Cinema in Bellevue, Washington, and everyone was like, "God, that movie sucks." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "What? What's it was like? Aliens?" Like, okay, Aliens is not believable, but glowing stones and the Ark of the Covenant, you buy that?
Yeah.
Well, those were Nazis. We
Yeah.
killed them.
Well, but they still got melted by the power of God or whatever, right? It's like,
So I mean,
and specifically the
oh, the Cup of Christ, even, yeah. So those things
but
are
they're
all
like,
weird.
hey, that's a bridge too far,
Right? And I was like, seriously? I mean, the
Yeah.
execution of that movie may not have been great, but I thought the concept of the movie was amazing. I love that.
I saw it once, but the rest of them I've seen it 9 gazillion times.
Right?
So I can't really.
Yeah,
I don't have that much.
I own all
recall.
those movies, and I'm gonna
Is that
probably.
Kate Blanchett in there too?
Yes.
Okay.
As a Russian.
Yeah, she's always worth seeing.
Was that
She
Kate
does
Blanchett?
it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she
in
does
Crystal
good work.
Skull. Yeah.
And the giant ants and all that.
No, that's.
Oh, they weren't. No, those were just fire ants. They weren't giant.
I thought they were giant ants.
No, they were just fire ants.
No, that's William Shatner as them.
There's something in
Same
the
thing,
wing.
though. Blanchett, Shatner.
Well, I mean,
see the mix up.
Okay, the Russian guy did get eaten by a bunch of ants, but no, they
Yeah.
weren't giant. They were normal
Oh,
sized.
and they take
fire
him down
ants.
to the bone, right?
Yeah,
that's
they
right.
They pull his body into the mound. Yeah, and they
In
start
my
eating him.
mind, I'm
Yes.
thinking of him as giant. Maybe I saw him as man or something.
Talking about memories.
Let me just say this. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it?
Oh,
Where is
yeah.
it?
I've seen the first Indiana Jones in the movie theater
Right.
with my mom. It
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
Great.
Favorite scene is the sword guy just blasting.
Dude, in the-
That's the best,
I,
yeah.
Even though it's like, you're in a foreign land and you just
Right.
murdered this guy.
Yeah, but hey.
did anybody else like when they saw that for the first time think this was ad libbed? When
No,
they saw
it seemed, well, I at the time, it was all movie magic to me anyway. I didn't really understand how movies were
I just
made,
remember
Yeah.
like years later finding out that that Harrison Ford had dysentery or some shit. He was not feeling well that day. He was supposed to do this huge thing with the bullwhip, and
Oh,
Yeah.
he's supposed to
Right.
disarm the guy,
Right.
and he goes, "Fuck this shit!"
It's
and
just
just pulls the gun out and
serendipitous,
shoots him. And then Spielberg is like, "You know what? We'll keep that because
Yeah.
that was
Right.
actually pretty good."
Yeah. Yeah, because he's in the film he seems kind of just exasperated.
I want to go lie down. I don't even.
Yeah.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anybody got any fun, positive stuff that happened to them, or that they saw, or they'd like to share? Let's end this episode on a positive note.
No.
Oh.
No, it's been that kind of week.
Well, my honey
Yeah,
buddy, Mary Clymer, had a birthday, so we.
Good for her.
Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday.
25th
Yes.
Again?
So we went to
again.
her folks, and her dad surprised her by getting a matching tattoo. She had given her dad a kidney a few years back.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, that's just one of
They
those
got
things.
kidney tattoos.
Yeah, so she had gotten a kidney tattoo that said Dad, and so
Oh.
he got a kidney tattoo that said Mary.
Have fun.
Aww.
Yeah, which is really nice. From the same tattoo artist, and yeah.
Nice.
Ryan Hammond had Lucky Double Tattoo. Did a good job.
Okay.
Really did.
Excellent.
Right here in Renton.
Yeah, right.
Right on third, right?
Yeah, and for Stephen Clymer, he's a super good guy, but he's not a tattoo-getting fellow.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not either. So
It's just not that. But so it was a surprise for Mary's birthday,
Okay.
and it was fantastic. That
Nice.
it was really well executed,
Nice.
like the whole surprise part.
Well, that's
I
awesome.
baked her a cake.
Aw.
Very good. What kind of cake?
Yellow cake, chocolate
Okay.
frosting. That was her specific
That's her-
request. Yeah,
That's-
that's her
That's
jam.
your jam.
You know what? I can't say no to something like that. That's the best
It's
cake.
classic.
What's your cake jam, Todd?
And it's moist.
Moist, yes. Anything with chocolate, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I'm a chocolate guy, so.
Sure.
yeah. Except for maybe German chocolate. No,
No, it's odd.
it's the flakes of coconut that kind of
It's too much.
weirds me out.
It's too much. But you remember borrachinis?
Right,
It's been
right.
who we are. People around here either love their frosting,
Right.
and they're gone now. So I won't speak ill of the
And that
building.
building is all.
I think somebody burned it down. I think somebody was squatting in there and burned it, or
Yeah.
something. I don't
Oh
know.
man,
Every time
It's
I
a
go
drag,
down
but
right
I used to
there,
love
it's-
their frosting, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Where I would have just spoon fed myself.
I don't know if I've
absolutely.
ever had that. It doesn't sound familiar to
Oh,
me.
it's good. They're a local bakery.
Oh, okay.
Beach.
Yeah.
Right by Oboyo. Not right by, but near.
And that's gone now
Oboyo.
too.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Alberto's gone.
The outlet store. They have the one here in Renton, but they have one
Yeah.
on Rainier.
Where do they have one in Renton?
It's right down below the hospital.
Oh, sure.
Oh, it's South Renton. Okay, down
Yeah.
by Harley.
Yeah, right as you get on the entrance to 167 or
Oh, yeah,
coming
yeah, I know
off
exactly where that
towards
is,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right across the street from the Burger King.
yeah, kitty corner. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Cool. Yeah.
What about you, Mike? What's your go-to cake? In
Oh,
case I
geez.
ever bake you something.
Oh, gee,
But you don't want me baking you anything.
overall, I'm more of a pie guy.
Are you
than a
really?
cake guy? Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm total opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do get down on apple pie with
Yeah,
vanilla
vanilla
ice
ice
cream.
cream, no,
but,
it's good.
oh my god, there's nothing
All
better.
If I had to choose a pie, it would definitely be pumpkin.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Nice.
Pumpkin.
All right.
Yeah,
I tend to go for the berry
Costco
pie.
pumpkin
Yeah,
pies
yeah.
are the best.
I've never had a Costco pumpkin pie.
Oh my god, they're like this fucking big. They're
Sure.
huge.
Yeah.
They're massive pies.
So like a blueberry, strawberry.
Yeah, well, typically I'd go with either apple or raspberry.
Yeah.
And my
There you
grandma and I make raspberry pies. You know, for
Okay. Don't bring me
Yeah.
raspberry pie because I will not eat it. I
All right.
can't do raspberries.
I don't.
Not that you were gonna bake me a pie.
Well, you never know.
You
I
never-
make mine almost like a tart. You know?
I don't
Oh,
hate.
okay.
I don't
And,
hate raspberry pie, but
Yeah,
you
but
know,
because it goes really good with vanilla ice cream.
Yeah,
I-
yeah, yeah.
I would prefer others, but yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I will say that I think my favorite cake, as far as visuals go, when I was, I think, 7, my mom made me a Darth Vader cake.
Nice.
Oh,
It was one of those. Remember when they had the tinfoil cake pans that were in
Mhm.
shapes of
Yeah,
things?
yeah, like a super bunt pan.
yeah.
And
My nickname in high school.
so that year, she made me a Darth Vader cake, and then she rented the original movie on reel-to-reel projector.
Holy smokes!
Real to real.
And then she also had the making of the movie on reel-to-reel as well, and we watched both the movie and the behind-the-scenes
Oh
stuff.
man, that's
Nice.
a really good birthday.
That's an
Yeah,
awesome
that was, yeah. I think that's probably my favorite. That birthday and the year after that when we went to Chuck E. Cheese right after they opened.
Oh my
For the
god.
first time.
Chuck E.
My head would
Cheese.
explode with that
Yeah.
kind of birthday.
Yeah.
The wife is a big baker. She actually was making cookies and selling them for like birthday parties, and she
Yeah.
would do the whole icing and the sugar cookie thing and decorating real
Yeah.
quick. But yeah, she's made some pretty awesome birthday cakes. But yeah, I never got into the baking aspect of things. So.
And cakes have come a long ways.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like people are like, what is this cake or is this not
Yeah,
cake?
Oh,
yeah,
did you ever
yeah.
see that show?
It's
Is it
nuts.
That's what she
Yeah.
does.
There's-
That's what she can
There
do.
there's a show on Netflix called Is It
Yeah.
Cake,
Yeah,
and it's like one of
it's a
the
human hand.
it's literally like one of the only baking shows that
Let
I
me
have ever
taste it.
watched in more than 2 episodes of.
Yeah.
Because I watched the Cake Boss, and then I watched like 4 episodes, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I've seen everything I need to see. But this was like they would make these things, and they would make them look as real as possible. And then you had to choose of the 7
Yeah.
things that are on stage, which one was cake and which one was real.
Yeah. Fire hydrant, spawning salmon.
There was like legit
Wonder Twins.
the one that was like I
Shape of,
Wonder Twin powers activate. Yeah,
form of an ice cube. Wasn't just real quick? Wasn't so they had the
Segue.
monkey was better than
Gleek,
the
yeah.
boy, right? Because
Yeah.
the guy's like, oh, I can turn into steam to get under this door to unlock it, or put me in a pail and you can carry me as you're a giant fucking awesome eagle. I mean, like,
if you've never watched the Super Friends, it is available on HBO.
It is completely bonkers.
Yeah.
It is. That was my introduction to Superman and Batman.
Oh yeah,
I
you got Solomon Grundy. Because
Yeah.
the Legion of Doom's cool, man.
Legion of Doom is very cool, yeah.
But it's also a bunch of people, and I'm with Alex Roth on this. It's like they would never work together.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
all
dude.
the most
And
antisocial.
they're not taking orders
beings
from
of all
Lex
time.
Luthor, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, dude,
Hey,
there's
Mr. Luthor.
there's been newer versions of the Legion of Doom.
Otisville.
Oh god. You know what's funny is the guy, John Cryer, who played Lex Luthor's nephew in I think the third or fourth movie, became Lex Luthor in the CW.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is he Quest for Peace or?
I think it was Quest for Peace. Yeah,
that
that's
might
the
be
one.
number 4.
That's 4 or 5, I think. Yeah. I can't remember. I just remember Quest for Peace was just god
Ducky
awful.
has grown
It's
up.
pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cryer's been around for that. Is he Pretty in Pink? He's one of the.
Yeah, he was
he's
Ducky.
Ducky.
And,
Okay.
yeah, he was Ducky. And, I saw that for the first time last year.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to show you. My daughter's getting into sewing, and I
Oh.
remember that show where Molly Ringwald had to like sew up her own prom dress, and she was kind of punk rock, or at least she hung out with the punk rock kids and stuff. So I want to share that movie with her, and I'm trying to remember if there's any like scenes that I need to like quickly.
If
skip
it was a
over.
John Hughes movie, I probably wouldn't recommend your child watching it.
No, it's just fine. It's not like 16 Candles where there was the racist stuff, right? Which we all thought was fun.
No,
back
touch,
in the 80s,
don't
right?
touch it.
Yeah, Long Duck Dong character. and
Don't
stuff.
any food.
Is that in a John Hughes thing?
That
Yeah.
is, yeah, 16 Candles.
I read
And
I
then
don't know
the
if I
date
saw
rape
this.
thing.
Oh,
and
jeez,
stuff
I don't
like that.
remember that.
Oh,
Well,
man.
the one girl, the girlfriend of the popular boy, gets so wasted that she passes out, and the boyfriend basically gives her to Anthony Michael Hall to drive home, and and she's so wasted she won't.
They don't
know the
remember.
difference.
Neither one of them
Right.
remember if they had sex.
Right.
Did we? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
But he drove her home drunk anyway?
Yeah,
Mercedes,
took her
yeah.
home and supposedly in a Rolls Royce.
Oh, it was a Royce, yeah. rolls.
Yeah, so a lot of problems with that. We didn't see it in the 80s, but yeah, that's not one I would share with it. But the 16 Candles was like an underdog story, right? It was the
Overall,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't my demographic at the time. So.
About 2 years ago, I rewatched all of the really
Listened to a lot
popular.
of Slayer at the time.
About 2 years ago, I rewatched like all the really popular John Hughes movies, and I watched all of them in kind of in order of the year they were released. I watched it was I want to say Weird Science was the first one, but it might have been like The Breakfast Club. But either way, a couple of the movies had some scenes that were like, oh shit, that would never play today.
Right.
Never.
I would say Pretty in Pink has a really good soundtrack.
It had all of them have
Psychedelic
great
Furs, Echo and the
Oh, sure,
Bunnymen, stuff like that. Really good
If
stuff.
you remind me later, I have a playlist on Spotify that is all music from John Hughes movies.
Yeah.
I'll even post it on the Facebook page if people want to hear it. But it's great music. Some of the scenes in the movies are a little problematic, but overall they're funny, kind of coming of age
do
movies.
a blog on the best soundtracks of the 80s. Because, Prince and the Revolution would have to be.
We should do like a
Well, that counts, right? Even though they're kind of based around. That still counts.
we should do like top 10 and make our own Spotify playlists of like our top 10 like songs from soundtracks.
Yeah.
Create a playlist. If you can find a song on Spotify, add it to a playlist, and we'll share it on the members only section.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, that's positive, right?
It is, but
That's
no, I like that.
friggin'
And
positive.
we have a piano recital.
And we got
Yeah.
Wait. There you get a little. You get a little free preview of one of the shows here.
Yeah,
at
didn't even have to
RCT.
pay for the free.
And again, this is a working theater, so we're out here sharing space with rehearsals.
I mean, we kick the rehearsals all the way down to the stage.
Yeah.
You know,
We're
I
up
mean,
here.
we get the costuming. You know, I mean, look at this.
You know,
They wish they were up here.
That's right.
we should next time we should actually run a mic out there so I can bring
Oh,
it
you
in.
can bring it in.
It'd be like Samuel French sues us. Like, you didn't pay for that. Like, you have to send back every single script. Like,
Yeah,
if you,
yeah.
Oh, no, they are strict.
They're very strict.
Yeah, and they have a legion of lawyers.
Yeah. And they do, the theater has to pay
Oh, yeah.
$5,000 or something for the use of the script. And,
Yeah,
and all
depending on
that.
what it is, yeah.
If it's a musical, it's a lot more because you have the songs and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's why we should just do things from the 1600s.
Yeah.
Get the stuff that's
Statutes.
And ye
of
shall.
limitations have-
Get
have
the stuff
worn
that's
out.
public
It's all
domain.
public
Yeah,
domain.
public domain
Yeah.
musicals, I bet they're just great.
Right.
Right on. Well, hey guys.
Oh, baby, oh, my honey.
We're going to be doing our top 5 times ways the world is coming to an end.
Yeah,
so
the
if you
bonus
want
round. So
Yeah,
if
check
you,
it out, subscribe
subscribe and get that
to the website
fun times.
r.townpodcast.com, right? r-townpodcast.com.
r-townpodcast.com, and we'll link it all up here.
Yeah, it'll be in the show notes.
If you found this, you can find
Yeah,
that.
Yeah. Well, you would think.
You would think.
Yeah.
All
Gotta make it
thanks
as easy as possible.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Contact us if you need a pit bull, because we got the hookup.
Yep, yep.
And on that note,
Yep.
good job, guys.
Yeah, right on. Good to see you.